A little notice. DMC would have tapped in, but he's in the airport traveling today, so he wasn't able to tap in. So I talked to him yesterday, and he gave me some inside baseball about some stuff. So it's going to be a fun chat.
All right, cool.
All right, so we're live right now, as a matter of fact. So all right, got some family up in the building here. I got my biological cousin, but really my big brother here, Big KO, legendary producer. You know what I'm saying? One of the best guitarists in the game right now. You know what I'm saying? Ghetto Metal out right now, smashing it on fucking Spotify and all other platforms. You know what I'm saying? Got some bangers coming up, working with DMC, fucking legend. And I grew up under this motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, it's an honor, but at the same time, we break each other's balls. So even though he's a legend, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to omit you from getting this smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, let's get something straight. Let's get something straight off top. Not a legend. I work with a legend. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, this guy is the legend.
Yes.
Word.
If y'all can't see, it says DMC Raising Hell, and on the front, R.I.P. Jam Master J.
Man.
Word.
R.I.P.
to the guy.
The legends. You know what I'm saying? Like when I wake up every day and I come into my studio, this is what I see that really grounds me. I'm nothing. These guys are everything. So it's very cool to be here with you guys. But don't toss. No, they're legends.
Well, damn it, you a legend to me, okay? Because like growing up, I always looked up to you. You know what I'm saying? I looked up to you all the time.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So to me, you a legend.
Yo,
right?
but congrats on everything you're doing on your platform. The channel is crazy. I love all the reviews. I love everything that's popping off, and it's really cool to see your fan base grow. And Blacktastic, I know that you're doing your thing too, and it's really amazing to be here with you cats. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
No doubt. I'm about to get to you now. Yeah, Blacktastic Media, my man. All right, legend. Well, I'm gonna stop saying legendary. Okay,
throwing that word around
because I'm throwing that word around real loosely. Okay,
you throw it around like a frisbee.
But you know what I'm saying? But a OG, also critic, filmmaker, author, poet. You know what I mean? Got a werewolf movie about to drop in October called What Have I Done? Looking forward to it. And I think you dropped the teaser trailer, but are you gonna drop a full trailer coming up later on, or?
Now you have to backtrack a little bit. I dropped a feature trailer about 3.5 months ago. So there's actually 3 trailers: a teaser, a full trailer, then a final trailer that came out on July 4th.
Okay.
And just recently, last week, I had my first private screener.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, man, they dug it. They feeling it. So I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Damn it, I wasn't invited, man. What's up?
No.
I've been the main one advertising your shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Get an invite for a screener.
The movie's not done.
Okay.
It's like 95% done. This is like somebody who don't know nothing about me or doing a movie. These are like blind people coming into the situation, and they got a good response. So the rest of next month, I got 2 more shoots to do to complete everything. Some final editing, post-editing. And in September, you're getting a copy of it. In September, all the press goes out. So in September, you'll be getting your link.
That's what's up. Congratulations, man. It feels good. I know it's stressful.
It is.
Doing a project, people really don't understand, especially if you're doing it independently, how much it takes to get it moving. It's like building an airplane. And then once you build it, it has to take flight.
Yeah.
So it's and then you have people on the plane that's along with you, and that everyone on that plane is your responsibility creatively. So
absolutely.
big up on that, and then I can't wait to see that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Werewolf movie. One of my favorite joints was American Werewolf in London. The
London,
transformation change.
Yes.
To this day, it's like one. It's probably the best transformation change in movies.
It is.
Ever?
I think so.
Monster transformation change. That shit was.
Yeah. So I know the Howling dropped that same year. The Howling was cool too, but the Howling wasn't even close to that transformation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and people forget, like American Werewolf in London. I haven't seen it in a while. It's kind of like a dark comedy, right? A little bit.
Yeah, it was
elements.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like the transformation is really jarring because you have kind of like a dark comedy. And then it just shift into like real hard, but it tongue in cheek 80s stuff.
Word.
Like the movie we about to talk about.
Oh shit. Okay, so okay, perfect segue then. So let's get started. So let me just play this quick trailer right here.
Right on.
All right, so if y'all want to know what we're talking about, I'm about to show you right now.
You're rolling with the rush, and that's all you need to know.
Dope
Yes,
intro.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
sir.
intro is fire.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Who did the track for that intro?
I got that off of YouTube. It's one of those non-copyrighted, you know what I'm saying? Because
you ain't holler at me for the.
no, listen, you got a lot on your plate, man. You know what I'm saying? So last thing I want to do is be like, yo, man, let me get a track for the intro. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I value your time.
No, that intro was fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
That shit was fire.
I was digging that.
No doubt. Yes, yo, I've been wanting to do this stream for a minute, you know what I'm saying? But of course, schedule conflicts get in the way, but I'm happy we get to do it now. So we're talking about the 80s hip-hop films, all right? Few and far between. Like for every year in the 80s, there's been like let's say ballpark figure, 200 movies drop. We get probably 2 black movies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
2 black movies, 1 hip-hop movie. You know what I'm saying? So there were very few in between. And go to the video store, you can never get them because the first person that gets it never returned it. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to get Breaking a week after it came out, you're not gonna get it.
That was me with Tougher Than Leather. I rented that shit and never bought it back.
Exactly. So we're gonna start from the beginning. All right, at least to my understanding, the first hip hop movie was Wildstyle. All right, so this one was directed by Charlie Ahern. I don't know his other work, but
Wildstyle and Style Wars, but they were
Okay.
like Style Wars was more like a documentary style film, but technically people throw Wildstyle and Style Wars in there as well. But yeah, just to follow up what you said about, you're right in terms of black movies, but also you got to understand in terms of hip hop movies, there were only maybe 10 signed hip hop artists at that time. The music was so new that there wasn't a lot of films being. It was like it was still news reports on it, like this new phenomenon called hip hop. So if you notice, the early hip hop films were directed by black people.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Harry Belafonte directed Beat Street. Am I correct?
No, that was Stan Lathan.
Stan Lathan.
So Harry Belafonte was a producer. Stan Lathan produced it. Yeah.
But Harry Belafonte was really hands on about wanting to get that film made, and it took like the older generation to hip Hollywood. Like, look, that's why Michael Schultz, directed Crush Groove, because they only. It was kind of like Hollywood only trusted the older black guard to do these films. But like I was saying, the music was so new that you weren't going to get a lot of movies, and that's why all of these films are cult classics. But Wild Style.
Every one of them special in their own way. You know what I'm saying?
They are.
Blacktastic, you gonna say something?
Yeah, Wildstyle. Now, I was young at the time when it came out, so I really wasn't into documentaries the way I am now. And the format was kind of a documentary. And Patty Austin, she goes way back to the 60s making films. And she was deep into the rich history of culture, indie films, and she loved hip hop music. I mean, she went into the ghettos, interviewing people, and she got down into the dirty, going down to the house parties joints and interviewing people, and that was a trip. And the movie kind of portrays that, when her car broke down in the city,
right.
She was scared. All the black kids came up to her, and she told who she was. They started pushing the car so she could get to her appointment. That was for me, that was groundbreaking, and it was gritty, it was grimy, it was indie production, but it was really one of the first to get everything off the ground. You notice all of these films has a white lead in there somewhere.
Right.
So Hollywood got to put their imprint on it. It wasn't always totally black, but there's always like a white thread wove through the story so Hollywood can accept it as mainstream.
Blacktastic, what age did you see Wildstyle? Because I'm 47, and I didn't see Wildstyle when it was released in theaters. I had older brothers and older cousins that had went to the 40 Deuce in New York to see it, and they had talked about it, and it was like only the older cats had went to see it because it was a very, very small, limited theatrical run. Wildstyle. I didn't see Wildstyle until later on. Until I was probably like the early '90s. So it started circulating in video cassette.
Same here. Like I never seen it in theaters. This the one movie out of the batch of them I didn't see in theaters, so I didn't realize it was even out until after breaking and everything.
I had heard about it because I had read books, and it was like the lore, like, oh, if you like this, you should wait till you see Wildstyle. So and so when I saw it, I was older, so I wasn't as enamored with it as I was Crush Groove and Beat Street.
Right.
I saw it through an older lens. So I saw it documentary stuff, but I think that if I would have saw it when I was 8 years old and being the first ever hip hop movie,
it would have blown you away.
It would have been mind blowing to see it at the same time that we saw Crush Groove and Beat Street. Yeah. Wildstyle came out a year before Beat Street.
Yeah, it was like 82, 83.
Yeah, it's like it was almost like they tested the water, like, oh wow, there's a buzz around this low budget indie film, Wildstyle. Let's give somebody we trust some money, Harry Belafonte, and let's try to see what we can do with this. Because if you notice, Beat Street didn't have that safe lead in it.
Right, they did. The lead was Radon Chong. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Well, back to Wildstyle, like the documentary feel of it's just what was being documented is just like some of these films are documenting an era, like truly, and like Lee and all the graffiti artists and Wildstyle, like that is just a snapshot in time that just goes beyond like what the movie was. I mean, I think the movie was probably a bad movie, but
I wouldn't necessarily say it was a bad movie though. Like it to me, the authenticity of it, because like there were no actors in the movie. Like you said, it was real graffiti artists, real breakdancers, and Fab Five Freddy. So the movie just had an authenticity to it. So even though they weren't actors, they were being themselves in their real environments. Yeah. So you could watch Wildstyle years later and be like, yo, this shit still holds up. As compared to the movies that we hold, like a Beat Street or a Crush Group, where they're acting. You know what I'm saying?
The craziest thing about Wildstyle was the rap battle. Because those, Cold Crush and Fantastic Five were the greatest MCs at that time. Like this is pre-Run DMC. Like this is the year before. Like this Wildstyle documents a very important era. The era right before Run DMC changed everything.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, like I was there. How old are you, Blacktastic? I don't want to.
No, I'm 51.
So we the same age.
Yeah.
All right. So we know what time it was. There was coming out the 70s, disco breaks, early rap records. Rapper's Delight, the Sugar Hill records, Freedom, Ninth Wonder, and then like the summer '82, something happened, and it was like The Message, boom. And I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And I remember being on the school bus in 2nd grade with I had a homie, Dion Jones. Shout out.
Dion. I remember Dion.
And, and we'd be on the bus. Don't push me because I'm close to the 7.
Yeah.
Right? 7 years old. So that summer, Planet Rock dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blacktastic. You see the way he sucked air? He sucked all the air out of the room. Some people were there and some people are spectators. You know what I mean? I mean, some people were spectators, some people were looking at things in retrospect. I was a spectator to this thing. I remember the summer '82 being a little nappy-headed kid on the block with dirty pro kids running for the ice cream truck, and all you heard echoing through the streets was Planet Rock and the message. Love like this. That's all you heard. But then, like a couple months later, Sucker MCs dropped. And it was
everything
like,
changed.
It was like the earth did this. Boom. And it was like everything changed. Then Hollywood was like, yo, they just started printing money to get it people. Yeah. They started printing money. Which is why, you know, as we move on down the list of movies, you see the budgets get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because the culture got bigger and bigger and bigger. So like we touched on in the beginning of these films, there was really no music to build it up. But by the time you get to Crush Groove, they know how to do it to where they put in a single the run. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and Wildstyle was also
great movie, great documentation of the era.
Yeah, and Wildstyle also was like, it was so pure where that was like probably the purest form of a hip hop movie as you can get. But then just like any genre, what happens? It starts to get exploited. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna touch on a couple of those movies where hip hop was exploited, where you're like, this ain't, what the fuck is this? Like it went from popping and locking to now they're doing ballet. They're doing straight up Van Damme splits and calling it breakdancing. All right. So, all right, boom. Nick, okay, well, before we get to that Blacktastic, so Wildstyle, you dug it, right?
Dug it, loved it.
Dug it, okay.
Can we do a star rating as we run through these?
Yeah. Okay.
What's the highest rating?
Well, my grading system, I go A through F, but I mean, we can do
A through F, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna give Wildstyle a C+.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give it a whole grade up. I'll give it a B+, just because I can watch and never be like, oh, this is some 80s cheese. Because that's a typical thing you hear when you see people watch 80s movies. Man, that's got 80s written all over. Oh, this shit didn't age too well. It's so 80s. But you don't get that with Wildstyle. That's like hip hop in its purest form.
The only
ages
thing that
well.
Wildstyle a C+ to me is it looked like it was filmed on Super 8s.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I give it a B- because it was filmed on Super 8.
I mean, so
they had an interview with Patty Austin, right? And that's all she worked with was Super 8. That's all she had.
And very rudimental editing as probably as well.
So that was the reason why it looked the way it does. It was gritty, grimy. And then with the strength of that film, you know, she opened up her own museum. And a lot of black artists got their artwork in her. Man, she was so essential to the black culture, man.
Okay, so look, film-wise, C+, cultural-wise, A+.
Okay, I do. Okay, so because you're great, so your C+ is from a technical level by how like it was made, like, you know, from the ADR to the Super 8 filming and all that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a producer, so everything I look at since I was that age. I always looked at things through a technical lens. How it sounded, like how things sound and how they look, always made me love a movie. Like we talked about this before. That's why I wound up being a producer, because when I was 8, I saw a film by Francis Ford Coppola, The Outsiders. And there was a score by Carmine Coppola that to this day it raises hairs on the back of my sleeve. You want to talk about how music can impact the scene of the film. Look at the end of the end scene when Dally gets shot.
Yeah.
And think of that score.
That's why I hated the novel version. Remember they released a novel version where
did they change that last scene with the music?
No, they changed the whole. They took out the whole score. They added 1950s you know, kind of like Scorsese 1950s music, and it just ruined the whole fucking film.
Yeah, it did. But that last scene, did they change the music for that last Dally scene?
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah,
That's
they changed it. They changed it. Yep.
To what?
Yep. Some 50s rock song.
When Dally died?
When Dally died. Yeah, if you look at the novel version, they changed they took out that entire score.
That's crazy.
Straight up. Yeah, so so you don't get your feelings hurt, you're welcome. Don't watch that novel version.
No, I've seen parts of it to see the extra scenes. But I haven't seen a bad Dally version.
Are y'all getting some feedback, or is that just me?
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
I'm hearing it.
What the hell is that? Let me see. Hold up.
Just went away.
Okay. Well, kind of came back a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
The devil is a liar. All right. So, it just came back as soon as I said that. All right. Hopefully it'll go away again. All right. So next movie. All right. So we just got Wildstyle out the way. So next movie. All right. Well, actually, okay. These two movies were in competition because I watched a documentary called Electric Boogaloo, the history of Canon films. So Orion and Canon were in competition of who was going to release what first, Breaking or Beat Street. You know what I'm saying? So Menachem Golan was like, no, we must beat Beat Street. And so Breaking was released first, and then Beat Street right after that. So Breaking is technically the next film that we have to cover, but Beat Street came out not too long after that. And of course, box office wise, Breaking destroyed Beat Street, box office wise. All right. But of course, for the culture, I think most would agree that Beat Street was the better movie. Ooh. All right.
Absolutely. But
yeah.
You know, like I said, being of that age to where you're not seeing a lot of hip hop culture in film, you're not seeing a lot of black culture in film. I really didn't know how, growing up in New York, I didn't know how it was on the West Coast. You know, I mean, like for young black dudes, like, so Breaking has a fond place in my heart, man. Thanks. Like as cheesy as it is, and it's certain elements that's just bad. The whole Kelly trope.
Yeah.
But you know, Kelly was dope. Yo, I love Breaking. I'm a fan of that movie. I'm not. Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna try to put these movies up against one another because each one got progressively better budget wise and film wise. But in my heart, and I'm sure Blacktastic will chime in, it's just something about that movie, that era. And I think the other tunes in it, the Shaka, again, it always goes around to now they're getting smart and they're able to market the song along with the movie. The lead single was Shaka Khan, I Feel For You, number one hit.
Ain't Nobody
on harmonica. You had Shabba-Doo in the video. It was like, it made you want to see that film. That film, when you saw that video, it was like, what? That's the film. And it was like, it started that whole thing where you drop a movie, and you have a hot song that's tearing up the airwaves, that movie's gonna do well. And to this day, I think that's probably Shaka Khan's signature song, right? I Feel For You.
Yeah, that and Ain't Nobody also. Ain't Nobody was on that movie too. Ooh. Yeah. Now Blacktastic being from the West Coast. Now being from Ain't Nobody, because remember that was the song that was playing when they had that montage. They was teaching Kelly how to dance.
Yeah.
See, look, it's a perfect example of how those songs make that movie better.
Facts.
Put another song against that training montage. Take the Ali and Jerry song out. Take the Shaka Khan song out and replace it with other hip hop hits at that time, which there were none.
Listen, my pops took me to see that, right? Pops took me to see that opening weekend, and then immediately after went to the record store and got me the vinyl soundtrack, which I still got the cover to this day. But being the naive kid that I was, I had a little Michael Jackson record player, and I didn't know that you needed a special needle to scratch. So I was trying to imitate the glove, scratch it on the Ice-T track, and I fucked the whole album up. Just fucked up the whole record, man. I remember scratched the shit out of it.
I remember you having that record, and I remember that record player.
Yeah, and I destroyed it. After about a week, the record was no good. It skipped every song, and my father never got me another one.
But Breaking again, going from Wildstyle to Breaking, it looks better.
Woo, way better.
Yeah,
you can tell they was like, okay, but it's still a low budget film, a tremendously low budget film.
Yeah, because when Breaking came out, that's Cannon's first movie ever produced. That's when
that was Cannon's biggest hit. That was Cannon's first big hit. Yeah,
the first biggest one. Yeah, so they really came into their own when Breaking came out, and like he said, this is when soundtracks start coinciding with movies, right? Because you got to remember that song by Shaka Khan, for her was a crossover song. She never had rap music in her song before. She's straight R&B,
and she didn't like it. I seen an interview with her.
That's right.
But she was like, I went to the studio and they had my voice, and I didn't know what that was. I didn't really like that. She didn't like that.
Yeah. The beat was up tempo. The beat was up tempo. It really wasn't her style, but she rocked with it. Probably her third or first biggest hit ever, besides Through the Fire.
Yeah. And that started a resurgence, a musical resurgence for Shaka Khan at that time.
Right.
Yeah, because she had just left Rufus. And then, if I remember correctly, after Breaking, it was like Through the Fire, like you said, and it led up to, her heating back up in the 80s.
Right. Yeah, that was a crossover hit for her, and that song sold the movie because everybody, because I'm from Compton, so on the West Coast, it was huge. I'm like, because we try to emulate the East Coast, because true hip hop came from the East Coast. And true breaking and pop locking came from the East Coast, and so we try to emulate it out here with our own style. So we was riding them nuts hard.
But this was great about, and I'm glad you said that. This was great about these films. You lived in Compton. I lived across the country in Long Island, borderline of Queens. Breaking gave me a glimpse. It might not have been a 100% accurate glimpse, but it was a glimpse on how y'all did it out there.
Yeah.
It made me want to be like, yo, those dudes out there is cool. I don't know where they at out there. I don't think it was even implied in that movie. When you're 8 years old, you don't know where it's at. But wherever it was at, I'm like, yo, I want to go out there. And it honestly, that style of dance that was in that movie, it cross-pollinated.
Right.
Because now New York kids went to the playground, and we was doing the Turbo Shabba-Doo shit.
What?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's cross-pollinating the same way that it's like, that's why I always want to, I love talking to my West Coast brothers, because I like to tell them that early on, when there was no other, you only got like 20 signed rap groups. There was no, I don't like him because he's from the West Coast. It was like, what? Too Short dropping the joint? When you saw Video Music Box or Yo MTV Raps way back in the day, they didn't have enough videos to fill an hour of programming. So you would get Too Short, NWA, King T, Shinehead, Run DMC, MC Light. There was no, the music was too new and it wasn't enough to be like, I just like West Coast artists or I just like East Coast artists. It was all one. So, when we saw Breaking, it was like, I'm like, that's what the coaches like out there, that's what the girls look like. Yeah, I want to go out there.
I go to Redondo Beach Pier to hang out with my homies and the family. Women in spandex, 6-foot blondes growing trees in LA. People are next to the beach. Carrying cardboard, open it up, and start breaking. Now, to me, the best breakers came from New York, but a lot of the pop lockers came from the West Coast.
Right.
You are absolutely right.
It was a nice mix.
You're absolutely right. The best locking started on the West Coast with the lockers. Fred Berry.
Ozone. Shabba-Doo. They was all from the West Coast, right?
Yeah. Shabba-Doo, Fred Berry. Well, Shabba-Doo was originally from Chicago. Then he went to LA. But Fred Berry, Jeffrey Daniels, Jody Watley, all those original Soul Train dancers that you love from the 70s, they, that group, the Lockers, and back in the day, I'm really showing my age, you would see the Lockers on like variety shows. Like they would come out on like Merv Griffith, it'd be like the Lockers. You know what I'm saying? Like, Blacktastic Media. You would see them on different shows, but again, it was the cross-pollination of culture. That's how they do it on the West Coast. That's how we wanted to do it. I mean, West Coast saw how it was going down with us with Graffiti, and that it was love, and it was honestly it until everything was torn down in the 90s, it was all love.
Yeah, well, because it was like you said, it wasn't that much of it, you know what I'm saying? So when Breaking did drop, the culture as a collective, like we all celebrated that because that was the first time we seen that on the big screen, you know, and that magnitude. Because like you said, a lot of us didn't get to see Wildstyle. So when Breaking dropped, you saw Ice-T on the big screen, like, yo, that's fucking Ice-T on the big screen. That was a big fucking deal.
It was.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that was a big deal, man.
Yeah, and look, there's some legendary scenes in Breaking that we still talking about. You know, Turbo with the broom.
Yeah.
Like that was, I think that was innovative filmmaking, using like old school Hollywood
like Fred Astaire type shit. Yeah.
Fred Astaire type old school Hollywood techniques. But it was cool because it was a new form of dance. And honestly, like, yeah, I mean, like, it's just a fun movie. Now, it's not the type of movie I crave to see. Like, I just gotta go. I'm gonna check Breaking. But if it's on, you can best believe if it's 5 minutes in or if it's 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be tuning in to Breaking. Classic.
Yeah, the energy, just the energy of the movie, the soundtrack, it's just contagious. Like you can't help but to watch it, and directed by a white cat. You know, you gotta think Cannon produced a couple of hip hop breakdancing movies, and they were all directed by white dudes. You know what I'm saying?
That's just indicative of how bad Cannon was. They had no clue.
No clue.
I don't think they got that director probably because he was the cheapest that they could possibly get.
And I remember early on in the movie, the scene at the beach when Homeboy was in a wheelchair. Yeah, and I thought that's a true story. He had polio.
Right.
That wasn't a gimmick. I mean, he really had polio. He was disabled, but the power of break dancing and music, when people get out your wheelchair and you can find a way to use the strength of your arms to compete with some of the best pop lockers and breakers of all time and still be disabled. Man, that movie it broke a lot of stereotypes and barriers.
Is it inappropriate? Is it inappropriate to talk about how banging Kelly was?
Hell
nah, shit, Kelly was fine as fuck. Kelly can get it twice on Sunday. But here's what I didn't like about the movie. All right. So back then it was taboo to have interracial lovemaking. You know what I'm saying? So even though it was always hinted that Kelly and Ozone were fucking, but they can never show it on screen. It was always, they're together, but they're not together.
It was a type of movie where you was going to get a love scene, but you knew what time it was. Kelly was hanging out at Turbo crib. They was eating pizza. He was at her crib and shit. Like she
had his shirt off. Come on.
Yeah, but you never. They never made it clear. They never made it clear that they was a couple. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time they couldn't do that.
She was ready to throw it all away.
Yeah.
For Turbo. Man, she threw it all away for Turbo.
Ozone. It was Ozone.
She threw it all away for Turbo. Yo, I mean, but Kelly, the shortcut, the
bang,
the dancing, Kelly.
Yeah.
Ask for days.
Ask for what? But I would always get mad, like, yo, man, how come they can't? Because it was always alluded that she was with the manager.
She was about to get beat up in the movie and everything.
That's the same. Okay, so we're gonna get to that right now. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up Breaking. So grade wise,
let me give it a rating. I'm gonna give Breaking a B+.
Same here. B+. It's almost perfect, but not quite.
Yep.
Yeah. But besides some, some weirdness, you know what I'm saying?
The movie has some bad acting. That was
because I mean,
they weren't actors.
Nah, I mean, some very, very bad acting.
Yeah,
especially in part 2.
Okay, well, here's where the exploitation starts. So, like you said, Kay, earlier, Cannon didn't have a clue, but Joe Silberg, who's the director, he just happened to, lightning in a bottle. He gave us a good breakdance movie. So Menachem Golan said, okay, well, we need to get at the sequel. Go make Breaking 2. Just go make it colorful and make them, So Breaking 2 was the opposite of breaking and what it was supposed to be. It was too colorful. It was happy. It was joyful. Everybody was just dancing and singing and smiling. And it's like, but besides the Puerto Rican chick, Breaking 2 was very forgettable, man.
Oh, it was. And I wanted to let Blacktastic leave, but I got to chime in.
Yeah.
Before the word whack existed, there was a feeling you had where shit just wasn't good. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember Blacktastic?
Oh man, it left a bad taste in your mouth.
Like before the word whack really existed, you knew what that feeling was like when you were young. Just when something just wasn't right. It just wasn't as good as that first one. I learned that lesson a couple times with part 2s in the 80s. First time was with Grease 2. That's a whole nother movie. Grease 2 made me be like, is this a parallel universe? That something could be that bad? Like, you know what I'm saying? But back to Breaking 2. Yeah, but in defense of Breaking 2, it came out in 84, 85.
It came out the same year as Breaking 1. It actually, Breaking 1 dropped, I believe in May of 84, and Breaking 2 came out in December of 84. They were released 6 months apart from each other. Yeah, because Cannon would shoot movies quick. Like
I wasn't
2
seeing
months.
These films in the theaters because they were hitting cable so quickly that I swear I probably saw Breaking, and then 6 months later, or a year, 8 months later, it was Breaking 2 on cable.
Yeah,
like I was seeing these films. Crush Groove was the first hip hop film that I saw in the theaters. But yeah, Breaking 2, it was tremendously bad. But we are now smack dab in the middle of the 80s, and everything is neon glow. Everything is bright. Every fucking thing.
Yeah,
you know,
that's when Madonna was popping. So you had the pastel colors were popular, and brothers on the West Coast, hey, I'm guilty of it. We was rocking them colors. That's when you had the long jerry curls.
We were rocking
guys
colors.
were wearing eye makeup. Man, it was cool to be free.
Hey, how did Charlie Murphy say? Yo, the nigga that looked most like a bitch got all the women. You know what I'm saying? Yo, even had the jerry curl and shit.
That's what it was, man. You know, my mom was a beautician. My cousin's mom was a beautician. So we used to go get hooked up. Yeah. And we'd go to the local mall and get with honeys, walk around with our cardboard. But in the mall, you didn't need cardboard. You could break dance on the floor. So women like Kelly was a dime a dozen. That little Puerto Rican girl in Breaking 2 who had broken English came a dime a dozen.
That was my first crush. I love that. I don't know what her name is, man, but she was.
Hey man, I was in a group called Radioactive Smurfs. We were all blue and white. Right? I remember I'm out there doing my thing, right? Little Puerto Rican honey got at me. Hey, negrito, muy bonito.
Did you have on white gloves?
White Kango hats and a blue shirt
shit.
And blue sweats. Yeah. It was the Radioactive Smurfs. That was our name.
Damn.
Man, we'll walk through the mall and just pull honeys. Just pull.
See, you were a little older than me, but it was not like that where I was from.
Damn.
Nah. I mean, like we was breakdancing at school and on the corners, and it wasn't like girls from New York back then were just as tough as guys.
And talk just as tough too.
They were wearing. I know chicks on the West Coast are tough too, but New York girls at that era. I mean, it was the height of the crack era everywhere.
Oh yeah, I can imagine
everywhere. But it was a tougher environment. It took more than a head spin to get girls.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, man. One thing that Breaking 2 did do visually, it was okay to step out your race on the West Coast because Mexicans and blacks didn't mix. By the time I was in junior high school, I got bused to a whole different school that was predominantly Mexican, and hey, they got at it, brother.
I remember you told the story about that on the video. I remember. Yeah.
And so in Breaking 2, since it was filmed in Los Angeles, it kind of took on the culture and bring that to the big screen. And they had the little Congo music in the background, and what's his name? Not Turbo, but what's his name?
Ozone.
What race is he? What is he?
Ozone is like Afro Latina, I think.
Yeah, Shabba is Latino. His last name is Quinones.
Quinones.
There you go.
I think he's mixed. I think he's black and Hispanic, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. And that kind of brought that culture to the forefront as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it like I said, at that time it felt whack. I didn't even know what a word to describe it, what it felt back then. It just wasn't as good. Nowhere near as good as Breaking
Dancing
Good.
on top of buildings, slide down poles, and I'm
like,
whoa, what the fuck?
But as a kid, that scene was cool though. When Turbo was on top of on the ceiling dancing as a kid, it was cool,
part of the movie. Best part of the movie.
The funniest part is when Turbo is running from the construction workers and trips down the fucking steps, and then it cuts a stunt man that looks like Carl Weathers, and then it cuts back.
He's like 300 pounds.
Even as an 8-year-old, I was like,
"Oh shit!"
Yeah. Like Carl, it starts off as Turbo, then Carl Weathers tumbles down the steps, and then the last scene is like Turbo with ketchup.
Yeah.
They didn't even try. They didn't even try to make
that.
Man, that was
the whole stunt budget with that scene.
But you know what? That was Canon Films 101. Canon Films 101. We could shoot a whole 2-hour movie in like 8 days. You know what I'm saying? When Canon would drop the trailer before the script was even written. You know what I'm saying?
They did that with like Superman. One of those Superman films.
Superman 4.
They was doing shit in the script. They were still shooting and they dropped the trailer.
They didn't even shoot the movie.
Warner Brothers sold it off. They sold Superman 4 and Supergirl to Canon.
Right.
Warner Brothers said, "We done," and you can tell.
Yeah. And Canon, but that was part of Canon's hustle. The way Canon would get money is they would have the posters ready, they would have a trailer, but they wouldn't even have the actors, they wouldn't have the script. They would just say, "Yes, Chuck Norris in the new Delta Force," and they haven't even talked to Chuck Norris yet. But they would sell it, get funding. And that's how they would make their movie so quick.
Smart.
You know what I'm saying? It's smart hustle, but it caught up to him in the end.
But
one thing I remember about Breaking too.
In the scheme of things, as a 8-year-old, I mean, I felt it was whack, but it was tremendously watchable. I must have seen that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I must have seen that shit at least 100 times in summer 1984, 85.
Yeah.
Every time it came on, I was in front of the TV.
It doesn't bother me. The first 45 minutes to like 50 minutes, that movie is strong. It's strong. But after Turbo gets hurt,
and then they introduced the whole trope of we need to save the center, which has been done in every sitcom ever.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? An episode of Different Strokes? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? An episode of Fast of Life? It's like saving the center has been done so many times. You know they're gonna save it.
Right.
Yeah. And Kelly, I'm not gonna go to Paris, Dad. I'm gonna stay in hell.
Wasn't that the first movie? Wasn't that the whole shit? The first movie? Like she was.
No. That was the second one.
The first one, she was a professional dancer. And the second one, she was so good at dancing, she had a gig in Paris.
Right.
And she turned it down to stay out in Hilton. But
one thing about Kelly, she turned down something in the first gig, movie too.
No, with the first movie, she was a struggling dancer trying to get a gig, and she hired your boy, the Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore, to be her manager because she was struggling. That's when she runs into Turbo and Ozone, and her dance game stepped up.
At the end, they ripped their sleeves off.
Yeah. Right. Who's the next dancer? Ozone, street dancer. He rips his sleeves off.
I'll take a point off of that. What did I give Breaking?
You gave it a B+. Yeah.
B.
Okay. wait. Why?
I forgot about that shit.
Here we go back. Yeah. And I don't know if y'all remember in Breaking 2, Kelly never wore a bra in that movie.
No, actually, I think Kelly looked better in 2 than she did in the first one, to be honest.
And also,
Kelly looked better in 2.
When all the groups came together, it was a big old kumbaya moment. They singing and trying to dance and raise money. It was a chick in the audience that threw her hands up in the air, was doing like that, and she had hairy ass armpits.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that, bro.
Man, watch it again. She throws her. I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
Nasty.
Well, even the actors will tell you, like, Shabba-Doo, rest in peace. He said he wanted to cry when he saw Breaking 2. He was like, they just took everything that was special about the first movie and just diluted it. You know what I'm saying? Even Ice-T was like, hey, that Breaking shit was whack. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I did it was for a check. You know,
Break,
even he hated breaking too. Yeah.
Yo, look, the more you remind me about those bad scenes of both these movies, my rating gonna go down. I love Ice-T. When I say I love him, there's a big difference between Ice-T in that movie and Ice-T 6 in the morning, Ice-T Colors.
Yeah.
Ice-T and Breaking was an artist that was just beginning. Had a couple independent.
Yeah, he was dressing. He was dressing like he was in a Mad Max movie.
Yeah, it was. I back then with the spikes and breaking the record. Back then, again, you don't know what the feeling is or even how to describe it. But now we know it's whack. It feels whack.
Well, I think he was trying to emulate African Bambaataa, but you got to be kind of thick and husky to do that. Ice-T was a little light-skinned dude with good hair.
Okay, I mean, that's important to talk about, especially the next film we're about to transition to. Or well, I guess we're about to get into Beat Street next.
Beat Street.
But yeah, I mean, it culturally, the look and feel was about to change. It was about to go from Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash, Leather, Rhinestones. You got to remember, Grandmaster Flash and African Bambaataa and these dudes, they used to have to go on tour with Rick James and Confunction, and they had hits in the early 80s. So they had to, they was playing dress up because they were on tours with funk bands that dressed like that. They had to go, they couldn't dress how they dress at the rooftop of T Connection. They had to dress like how Confunction or Rick James was dressing. Grandmaster Flash opened up for Rick James on the Street Songs tour.
I never knew that. I didn't know that.
They did a song on Rick James' Cold Blooded album. There's a song called PIMP, Pimp the Simp, featuring Grandmaster Flash. Oh, matter of fact, it's called New York or something. Featuring Grandmaster Flash is on that album called Rick James, Cold Blooded. So, you know, Grandmaster Flash and these guys were trying to dress, you know, to put on a show, but culturally on the street, things were changing, and that's what you see
drastically
in our. Well, did you guys give a rating for Electric Boogaloo?
For breaking?
No, not yet.
Nah.
Yeah, because you guys started reminding me how bad the shit is. Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. D+.
A straight D
that's
for
not
me.
failing,
Straight D.
right?
Yeah. I would give it a D. Like you said, watchable, but even when you're watching, like, this is bad.
So,
oh my god,
a D is failing and a D+ is not failing.
I think D+ is like barely passing because I've got many D+ in my day, and D+ was barely fucking making it by the skin of your nuts. All right.
So what is a D?
A D is almost failing. Yeah, almost like it's right there next to failing, but so it is watchable.
And D+ is better. So you know what? I'm gonna give Breaking 2 a D.
Yeah,
I can't give it a D+.
Yeah.
Straight
I would bump it up another grade for that Puerto Rican chick though.
D- is too.
It don't even have a memorable song from that movie. From the soundtrack.
It's like tapping the same well. It's like trying to make coffee using the same filter. Like you make one pot and that one pot good. If you ain't got no more coffee, let me try to run the water back through this shit. Nope. Coffee. Yeah,
well, they did that. They did that with the Ice-T, So they used the same Ice-T song from the first movie, but they just kind of like remixed it. But it was the same track. Yeah. When they had that battle,
all that stuff running around in an alley underneath the freeway using trash can lids. I mean, it was like, are y'all fighting? Y'all dancing? I mean, it was terrible.
But see, not to make this racial, but once again, a white director, Sam Furstenberg, directed Breaking 2. So you had Joel Silberg and Sam Furstenberg, the two Breaking movies. Okay. So now we get to Beat Street. Now we get to Beat Street, directed by Stan Lathan, a brother, and you can tell. You can tell now. I first watched
Stan
this.
Lathan, so not Lathan father, Stan Lathan.
Yes, not Lathan father. Yeah, my father-in-law. So I first watched that. I think he was gonna catch that. I first watched that at your crib, Kareem, and I remember loving the movie, but I was like real small when I saw it. So I remember the scene when Ramo dies. I remember I got scared. I was like, because I never see nobody like, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking this is like a dance movie musical, and he gets killed in a fucking train track. So as a kid, that scared me.
Yo,
But,
I mean,
yeah.
the first thing that you notice about Beat Street, what makes it probably the quintessential, and people will be like, "Oh, the art was whack," you know.
It's about the graffiti.
Yeah, the graffiti, because the graffiti was done by artists on set, art directors. The graffiti wasn't done by real graffiti artists. That's the main gripe about Beat Street. But if you can get past that, which I totally did when I was young, I didn't care. I was a kid that was I was drawing rainbow on every fucking thing I had. Rainbow. When my mother was like, "You wrote rainbow on the wall. Like, you wrote rainbow on the wall in your room. What are you doing?" Like, that's how. I mean, it was the cultural impact of the realism of Beat Street. Now we're getting into the era where the guys in Beat Street look exactly how my brother looked, look exactly how my cousin Nathan looked, look exactly how my cousin Richard looked. They looked exactly how I wanted to look. You know, going into 84s, like that's how kids were dressing. And now we're getting to an era where it's just not just black kids; everyone was dressing that way. Hip hop culture was starting to infiltrate because of movies like Breaking. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I might have to give a plus back to Breaking, because it was a movie that culturally broke down doors. After Breaking came out, almost every white kid I knew that I went to school with came to school, and we started a breakdance crew. Me and my man Steven Schoenfarber, my man John Fiore. We started a breakdance crew, and we had t-shirts that had our fucking name on them.
Electro rock.
Yeah, it was because of movies like Breaking, but Beat Street, the realism of it, unmatchable.
Well, even the style of break. I'm sorry, go ahead, Blacktastic.
No, you're right, man. For one, it was shot in the Bronx, so culturally, it was a shift from LA to the East Coast. So you had the snow on the ground, you had the big bomber jackets, you had the Kangos. The look was so authentic.
That's how it felt. That's how it felt. And now we go into that era. I'm gonna throw
here we go. Here this cat go.
And the movie had a different vibe. And then you had people who can actually act in a hip hop movie. And Ray Dong Chong, you know, we was all crushing on her back then. She had them big ass elephant teeth, but I didn't care. But
I love Ray Dong. Ray Dong Chong. Ray Dong Chong was
oh shit.
Could be my first crush. Love Ray Dong Chong.
And it was kind of funny.
Too.
Was kind of funny. Lead guys from this point on looked the same. Like Homeboy and B Street looked like Mario Van Peebles later on in rap. They had that square jaw, light skin, no mustache.
Hey, people don't know Guy Davis star that movie is Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee's son.
Ruby Dee's son,
Guy Davis,
that's true.
He's currently a blues artist that's very dope.
But you know what?
But he wasn't an actor at that time. Like, he wasn't an actor.
But you know, that's a good point you bring up, because back then when it was a black lead, they had to be light skinned. You know what I'm saying? Back then there weren't a lot of dark skinned leads. No. You know what I'm saying? You had to be bright. Think about it. Like you said, Mary Van Peebles rapping, Shabba-Doo breaking, Guy Davis, Beat Street. You know what I'm saying? Even Crush Groove, you know, but Blair Underwood was not really like he was
Blair
kind of in the middle.
That throws that shit out the window, because Blair Underwood, you know, is not light skinned. But I mean, it's a certain trope. In Hollywood.
Back then, you know, like now you have all kind of, you know, black leads, you know what I'm saying? But back then, it's like you had to be light skinned and you couldn't have no interracial relationships on screen, you know what I'm saying? So you were allowed to be black, but you couldn't be too black. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's one thing you can't say about Beat Street.
Yeah.
That shit is not watered down at all. That shit is what Beat Street was so real to me. Like when they was in the room, like Kenny and like Double K and his little brother, that was me and my big brother.
Yeah. Yo, let me go with you, Kenny.
Yo, I swear, anybody that knows me, anybody watching this interview right now, Sean, you can tell them, that was me. I was Lee. And it's like I can smell their room. Like the way their room looked, I know what that room smelled like. You know what I'm saying? Like when Kenny came home from the date with Ray Don Chong, when he came into the room, and his homeboy was in there, and the little brother stuck his head up, was like, "Damn, Kenny, you smell good. you been at? God damn, like asking questions, like that's how it was back then.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
Beat Street, I don't know. Beat Street was a snapshot of exactly what it was at that time.
Like even the parties, you know what I'm saying? Yo, even the parties, you know, just just the atmosphere and everything, and like even the breakdancing, like even when you look at the breakdance battles, that was more what we were accustomed to seeing, as opposed to no diss to breaking. The dancing choreography was great, but all that ballet stuff, like real breakdancers didn't do all that ballet and splits and shit. No, it was straight up popping, locking, spinning on the ground.
Yeah, B Street was the real deal because this is still electricity for our building that was abandoned to have parties. That's what we did. And then also, to this very day, that in about 25 minutes into the movie, that first breakdance battle, to me, is still the best breakdance battle caught on film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was so, and it went on for a long time. They let the camera just roll, and each kid came out and did their thing.
Right.
Yo,
they will beast. Let's serve them.
with the Rocksteady crew and the New York City Breakers.
Yeah,
And come on, the theme song, Beat Street, the king of the beat, rocking that beat from across the street.
The street. What?
I remember
Beat Street. It's a lesson too, cause you can't let the streets
beat you.
Right. Hey, I gotta say something about that. Melly Mel's verse on Beat Street.
Yes.
I'm gonna catch flame, but Blacktastic is gonna co-sign me on this.
Okay.
That could be one of the greatest verses of all time.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Go back and listen to it. He was saying shit that came to pass. Don't be a slave to no computer.
Like,
the shit he was talking, like the shit that we doing now in 2022, Melly Mel 40 years ago, and the message, even when it comes to
it's almost scary. It's almost like prophetic, man.
Well, he was like, finally the bomb gets the last word. But you gotta think about it was 1983 and he was spitting like he would destroy 95% of MCs out today. Period.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk like I'm an old head. Look, I know what you cats gonna say. Oh, he's an old head. Yo, I am. I done seen it. I done seen it, and I done been there. I was a spectator. I was there. I didn't hear about it and then hop on a podcast and talk about it later. I was there in a B-boy stance in 1988, 87, 89. I know what it was. Melly Mel will destroy 95% of all rappers out today and all rappers of all time.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question though. I want to ask you a question because I would agree. Yo, Melly Mel's one of the best to ever touch a mic. But
that verse, we can talk about his whole career, but that verse,
fire.
Top 5 of all time. If not, it can be number 1 to me. That's how great it is. And like, you have to be a hip hop head to even know it. When people think Melly Mel, they think the message, and they remember Beat Street, and they don't remember what the fuck he was saying in that song. That shit is hard.
But do you think Melly Mel's attitude is the reason why he never really blew up like he? Because I'm just saying Melly Mel never had that crossover like appeal like some of the other people that we know. And he'll tell you like, yo, I'm great. I know I'm great. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody touch me. I'll destroy anybody. But is that you think that's what held him back for having a better career than what he had?
No, not his attitude. It was a time. It was a time. He was the first wave of hip hop artists. You gotta remember, like I said, these motherfuckers was on tour with Rick James. These motherfuckers was on Letterman, all these big shows. Kind of first. Like they, as much as I love, Daryl, Run DMC. I believe Run DMC. You know what time it is with me. Daryl will tell you who is the greatest. It's those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's Melly Mel and those cats. Like and it's not a surprise that they were the first ones in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Because Mel, if you Melly Mel, he shits on everybody. Like I was watching an interview with Meth, and Meth was like, "Yo, Mel shits on everybody, man.
Love it.
Like if anybody that came after him."
I don't know this story. I don't know if y'all know the story, but there's a Melly Mel battle KRS-One at the New Music Seminar.
I heard that story.
Back in the day,
I heard that story.
Or something of that nature. And this was like when Mel was like losing his grip on like the new school had came in. it was pretty much a rap for the first wave of artists. And Melly Mel. Well,
I heard the story.
It wasn't Melly Mel versus KRS. It was Melly Mel versus whoever won the belt.
Yeah.
And Melly Mel was actually in the MC battle. It was an MC battle at the New Music Seminar, and the winner would get a belt. And I don't even know why Melly Mel was in this battle years into his career, but because he was the best. But there's a story that whatever, I don't know what happened in the battle. He might have lost or whatever, but he came, took his shirt off, did 20 push-ups on stage, ripped his shirt off, flexed on the dude, cut a promo. Yeah. He might have lost, but then he snatched the belt from the kid, was like, I'm Melly Mel, I'm the greatest of all time.
That sounds some shit he would do, too.
Sound like
you lose, but it's like, you know what? I ain't lose. I'm Melly Mel, I'm the greatest of all time. Look at the 20 push-ups and snatch the belt.
But something like that, but something did, something did happen where KRS, I think he was performing, and I think Mel came up and challenged him.
Yeah, it was
I think that's how it happened.
It's hazy, but Melly Mel did not give a fuck. He was stepping to, because he was the best from his era. You can't tell a motherfucker who's the best in their era.
Yeah.
Just like Jordan would be like, I took offense to that. Yeah, Melly Mel took offense to all this shit. Because he was the best.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I agree.
Beat Street, I don't want to be on that verse. Whoever, if you're not familiar with that song or that record, it's a song that Melly Mel do at the end, and the real version is another verse on it. So it's a whole song.
Yeah.
It's called The Message. I think it's called Beat Street Breakdown. But you need to go out and like really listen to that song, because that song contained one of the greatest rap verses of all fucking time. Beat Street, love it, love everything about it. And honestly, probably one of the first times in cinema, and me and Shad talk about it a lot, where you almost moved tears. Or when I was a kid, I'm sure it probably made me drop a tear the first time I saw it. And to this day, it's still one of the most emotional scenes in film. Ramo dying time after time, you know it's coming. Yeah. You know that part is coming. Ramo, spit! Every fucking time your hair.
And I hated spit. Hated
his ass.
Every time you see it, the hair will raise. And every time you see it, you will be like, fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, to make you feel that way about a fictional character, because those characters felt so real to us. I knew Ramo. Knew motherfuckers just like Ramo. A talented Latino cat from the hood that get taken down too early.
Yep.
I knew cats just like Charlie. I knew cats just like, I became Double K.
We went from Lee to Double K.
I went from Lee to being Double K. Because these films was giving us a roadmap culturally, honestly.
Yeah. It was the first movie that had one of his buddies say, look, I'll be the producer. I'll be your manager. I'll be, that movie gave you the blueprint of how to come up. And not to mention, what's her name? Sonia, Hunger from Miami Vice, was his girlfriend that had the baby.
Sonia Santiago.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, there was, I know that film so well that there's a Spanish song in that film that plays when they go to see Ray or Ray.
Oh yeah.
Yo, that shit was fire.
Yeah,
it was, man.
But again, it felt like you knew it. You go outside, that's what my neighborhood looked like.
Yeah, straight up. It felt like home. And listen, I was today years old when I found out that at the end where they had that show and Double K was rapping, I didn't know that was Melly Mel's voice. I didn't know that all these years. But I'm like, but we listened to it now, so that does sound like, how the fuck did I not pick that up?
As a matter of fact, that's what I'm talking about. On the song Beat Street is all Melly Mel. And the movie they put Special K, Double K, like doing that verse. But if you listen to the song, it's just a Melly Mel song.
Yeah.
And, it's
but how the hell did we not catch that though? Because I'm like, Dan said, I said your boy can actually rap, man. And then Melly Mel came on stage and sounded even better. But I'm like, the whole time I didn't know it was the same fucking voice. It was
Everything
the same
about
person.
it was dope.
That's Hollywood for you.
the Us Girls,
Right.
like that first party scene with Lisa Lee, Debbie G, Us Girls, that was legendary.
Yeah.
Everything was fucking legendary about it, man. Like, honestly, love it. I'm ready to give my rating.
Come on.
But there's so much.
Come on, Kumo D and a Christmas rap.
Oh yeah. Ho, ho, ho.
Fresh?
Open up your door.
Ho, ho, ho. Open up your door.
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
And guess what, y'all?
I got something
to show.
So a score for me, A+.
Beat Street.
Yeah.
A+.
It's an A+.
Yeah. I have to agree. I can't because you know me. I always got to nitpick about it. There's nothing I can like say negative about this movie.
Like, the only thing I can nitpick about is like maybe the battle cry part. Why the fuck are they in the subway?
I love that scene. That's one of my favorite joints. Yeah.
Scene.
Yeah.
But it was just, it kind of like broke the fourth wall to where they knew they needed another breakdance number. And it's like, okay, let's put them in it almost borderline went to an urban musical.
Right.
It's like the way they were just the posturing before.
The posture. Hey, let's serve these dudes.
Yeah.
They do that fucking walk.
The file in the formation and just it was like, but no, that's only looking.
Who rocks?
Back then, the shit was the deafest shit I ever seen ever in life.
And I don't know about y'all, but back then, what Beat Street does for me, it remind me of like your first true crush of love. Holding hands, listening to hip hop music, catching a bus, catching the subway, hooking up at the mall. It reminds you of just being true innocent, dating somebody when everything was cool and copacetic way back then, man. Listening to records and hanging out, looking at the stars and talking.
Bro, Blacktastic, do you remember trying to copy all the art from Beat Street? Like, there's a first scene when it starts and Ramo's tracing like
on his paperback. Yeah.
Everybody, like, we love that movie so much. We freeze framed it and we learned how to draw that Ramo shit. We knew how to draw the Ramo burners that he had. Like that was part of the hip hop. Like that was to a lot of people that was their introduction to graffiti.
Yeah.
We did dabbling or start.
I was in junior high school when it came out, so we used to get paper bags and make book covers back in the day.
I remember seeing those
graffiti art on that, and I got it from Beach Street. Oh, we get like a trapper keeper, old school folders for your paperwork. On front cover, graffiti drawings, all from Beach Street. Yeah. Because the poster, how I said Beach Street, it had like windows and the breakdancers posing. Man, the poster was dope.
Oh, as a matter of fact, when it came to cable, it was in the cable guide that it was coming to cable, like Beach Street and August Beach Street, and it was like a picture of it, and it was them against the burner. And that picture from the cable guide, we was tracing that shit and learning how to do it. That's what these movies meant to us. These movies meant the same to us, our generation, as 70s films meant to our previous generation. Yeah. Beat Street and Breaking, it was like Shaft and Superfly to our parents. It was a reflection of us on the screen. And just culturally, like Blacktastic said, it felt like your first kiss was something that you would love forever.
Yeah, and then another thing too, those movies would disappear after a while. Like they would come out in the theater, have a short theatrical run, then they would blow up on VHS, and maybe a couple of times you saw them on cable. But bro, I remember it was like years before I saw Beat Street again. The only reason I saw it again was because you had a VHS, you had Crush Crew and Beat Street on the same tape. And that was my first time seeing those movies in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. That's why we remember these films so fondly, because they weren't, and they're still not blasted on repeat. Blasted. They're not films that are heavily repeated on cable and stuff. Like you said, there was a big gap to where you didn't see Beat Street on HBO or cable. It wasn't 400 cable channels. It wasn't 5 HBOs. It was one HBO, one Cinemax. So you wasn't seeing it until videotape culture started in the late 80s and early 90s. Videotape started circulating. Then everybody started seeing Wildstyle. We started seeing Beat Street again It reminded you why you loved the shit again. But it still felt, B Street was the only film that 10 years later, it still felt like it came out 82, 83, and then I seen it again in 93, and that shit still made me feel the same way. Like it made me want to breakdancing was dead for like 10 years. If you see it, it make you want to go breakdance.
Yep. Yeah.
Word.
I think Breaking 2 probably killed breakdancing, man. After Breaking 2, like you said, breakdancing became whack. Yo, after Breaking 2, if you was seen doing this shit, yo, man, sit your dumb ass down. Nobody's popping and locking no more. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
wait a minute. First of all, wait, let's go back. I gotta backtrack.
Okay.
1 second. Breaking 2. The Spanish girl, her voice was dubbed, right? Like what the?
I think so, yeah, because it sounded like it was some ADR there going on. So I think so.
They added her shit on in post. Like I went down a wormhole one night and breaking wormhole. Looked her up, looked the actress up. She never did anything else. She never acted in anything else. It's like Blacktastic said. They went to a mall, plucked her out of a mall. It was like, you're gonna be in the movie. Oh, you can't talk? That's okay. We'll overdub some shit on you.
Right. Yeah, like, and you know what? They did that a lot back then, man. They did that with Lou Ferrigno in the Hercules movies. They did that with Sam Jones, Flash Gordon, which I didn't know for years. I didn't know his voice was dubbed. You know.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What you say? They did it on Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon, yeah, that's not his real voice.
Voice was overdubbed?
Yeah, that wasn't his voice. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You're putting back the veils on me.
Yeah, that's what they did back then. Yo, they damn near dubbed Dolph Lundgren for He-Man, but he had something in his contract that said he had to have the chance to know his lines or whatever, and they kept. You said they should have.
They should have overdubbed his ass a He-Man.
Well,
was that another
That was canon. That was one of Cannon's last movies. That movie actually, that and Superman 4 tanked like that, made Cannon go belly up. Those two movies, because Masters of the Universe was a flop, and then Superman was even worse flop, and then Cannon was done after that.
They should have been able to knock Masters of the Universe out the park.
Yeah,
I don't. It's beyond me.
Big time.
It's another example of before the term whack was coined, and you just didn't know what to call it besides bad.
Yeah.
Or just say you didn't like it. As a kid, it would be like this disappointment. Like, yo, a He-Man movie, you'd be hyped for that.
I mean, even as a kid, I was like, damn, like we no Battle Cat, no Arco, no Snake Mountain.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
As an 8-year-old, you're like,
they didn't have the budget.
Yeah, they didn't have the budget. Yeah. But it was crazy because it was their big. Because mind you, Canon, all their films are like million and like under $1 million budgets. Like even I think Breaking had like a budget of like maybe not even $1 million. No. So Masters of the Universe had like a $17 million budget, which at the time was the biggest movie Canon ever did, and it still looked cheap. You know what I'm saying? So next movie we got. So we just did Breaking 2, Beat Street, and now we go into 85. All right, well, honorable mention. Even though it's not a hip hop movie, but we still have to throw that in there. Purple Rain, large. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Purple Rain was large, even though it's not technically a hip hop movie, but it was ours. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Last Dragon, which is somewhat of a hip hop movie, but it's more martial arts. But Last Dragon was
Last Dragon's not a hip hop movie. It's just a great.
Well, it blended hip hop and martial arts. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you had popping and locking in there. And
what was hip hop in Last Dragon?
Oh, in the movie scene, in the movie theater, right? They was dancing in the movie theater.
Yeah. Well, it was more breakdancing than anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then the younger brother Richie, he was rapping all the time.
Oh, right. No, it was definitely a
like a offbeat musical.
Yeah, it was like an offbeat hip hop kung fu movie.
Yeah, I love
something like that.
That's another. Yeah, you could definitely.
Yeah. Hold up, my boy Mike from Z Review. Okay, so Mike, yeah, you new to the party, man. So yeah, Big KO is my biological cousin, but my big brother for real, he's my evil twin. All right, yeah.
That's that's evil because Rashad, you an evil motherfucker.
Oh no, I'm way more evil than him.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
I tell people all the time. I say, yo, I said KO is me with the volume turned all the way up.
Yeah, you always say that.
I'm mustache twirling evil. Like Rashad has a good streak in me. Like I said, I'm a little bit older. I'm from the 80's.
Yeah.
So,
right.
My edge is a little bit harder.
Right.
Evil twin. But we see things through the exact same lens because we grew up in the same building.
Right.
We're family. We look just alike. Like it. But as far as a lot of these films, we saw it together. Like he would come upstairs to my crib, or his dad, my Uncle James, would take us to the video store.
Oh, that's nice.
We saw a lot of these films through the same lens. But yeah, I think we got to give. We gave a rating on Beat Street, right?
Yeah, A+. Yeah, A+. Yeah, so I would just say name some honorable mentions: Purple Rain, Last Dragon, both classics. Okay, but the next hip hop movie. Now I can't remember which one came out first, but we just have to get this one out the way to get someone we want to talk about. So we're gonna get Rappin' out the way. Rappin' came out the same year as Crush Groove, but I feel like Crush Groove deserves to be talked about, a little bit later. Let's get Rappin' out the way. Okay, once again, Cannon does not get it. Cannon got lightning in a bottle
too.
Yeah. Yo, so they caught lightning in a bottle with Breaking. Okay, Breaking 2, they had no idea, but they wanted to capitalize off the success of Breaking. They said, okay, let's get the same director from the first Breaking movie and make a movie that like that, but call it Rappin'. And we're gonna get the son. What's the guy that did the Sweetback's badass song? The Van Peebles boy, get him. And so Rappin' came to
we can say a lot about the film. and we can say a lot about Cannon.
Yeah.
And how bad they were, how bad they, but Mario Van Peebles was fucking horrible in this movie.
Yeah.
Again, before I knew what rap or cringe was, I was like 10 years old, like.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Like, what the?
This ain't rap.
Only saving, I barely remember it. I told you.
Well, I sent you the link. I sent you a link to watch it.
I didn't. I was watching Tougher Than Leather last night.
But, man, you know that movie like the back of your hand. You should have watched Rappin' and talk about the man.
No, I mean honestly, I don't even think I watched Tougher Than Leather. Like I was back and forth on the phone with D, but because we was talking about Tougher Than Leather. But Rappin', all I remember is John Rappin' Hood and the guy and the kid Richie from Last Dragon was in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you really wanted to like it because he was a great actor. He was in a lot of stuff in the 80's that my man, like, you wanted to see him in more film because he was mad charismatic.
It's my Van Peebles?
No.
It's my Richie. Okay, yeah.
Richie. But yeah, just tremendously bad.
Homeboy from Coming to America was in there, the tall dude.
Oh, Eric LaSalle. Yeah, Eric LaSalle. Yeah, Eric LaSalle was in there.
He was in there, but that movie, I mean, the only thing they managed to do, because Mario Van Peebles was light-skinned, square jaw, he was pretty. Had a little Michael Jackson curls coming down in the front.
Killing.
He did not represent the rap culture at all. He didn't represent the rap culture at all. He was wearing boots and jeans. Because at this time this movie came out, Run DMC was the top rap artist across the world in 85. Run DMC was it. Then it was like UTFO, Houdini. So we knew what good rapping sounded like.
Right.
And when this movie came out, like some white dudes wrote this shit for him.
Yeah, and you could tell. Yeah. They have a breakdance battle. They have a breakdance battle where it's nothing but ballet. No popping and locking. It's just straight up Michael Jackson shit, but it's a dance battle.
And what's the deal? Biting Crush Groove. See, all you can eat, but they have like
snack attack. Yeah, the snack. He's having a snack attack. And mind you, and all these three movies, what they have in
flashbacks. Because like I said, there's certain shit as a real b-boy, you just couldn't tolerate. And I think that was the point where, like I said, words and phrases didn't exist, but that was the point where you like, yo, I'm not gonna tolerate this shit. And that shit is right.
Well, by this time, the phrase "ill" was out. That shit was ill.
Yeah.
It wasn't even being used like that. It would be like, yo, he was ill in that movie. but
it was ill. Yeah.
Oh man, that movie.
The whole point of the movie is he was supposed to be like they called him John Rappin Hood because he was like a Robin Hood type character where he's a former convict. He gets out, the neighborhood's in trouble, so he robs the rich to give back to the poor. But the whole time he raps, he raps through the whole movie. And matter of fact, once again, Ice-T. So I guess Ken and Ice-T must have had a good relationship because once again, Ice-T wrote all the raps in the movie. He has an appearance in the movie. Also, I think Ready for the World had a was it Ready for the World?
No, it was Force MDs.
Force MDs. There you go, Force MDs.
That was
the best scene in the
only
movie.
saving grace in that movie.
Right.
For a
That
scratch.
scene.
Yeah.
That was like their worst song ever.
Yeah.
Itching
for a scratch.
Look like New Edition up there. New Edition
for a scratch. Every bad trope, every bad stereotype that you can put in the movie, from bad acting to a non-existent. We talked about how the songs move the movie along, right?
Right.
Non-existent in rapping.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Except
I don't think it had a soundtrack, did it?
Nah, it didn't. It did. And now that you mentioned the Snack Attack scene, I do believe Crush Groove came out first. Yeah, because they bit that whole all you can eat scene. Yeah. So
okay, I'm gonna put you up on a little bit of inside baseball. Yeah, I mean, rapping did have a soundtrack and it did have a score, and it was produced by one of my heroes.
Oh shit,
Larry Smith.
What?
Run DMC. Yeah.
Oh wow.
What? He's like, what? I just found that out too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, well,
so honestly, it was everybody getting a check.
Yeah.
There was no excuse for the music to be that bad if you got Larry Smith on board.
Right.
No excuse. At that time, he was the greatest producer in hip hop. But
yeah. That's
from
bad.
what I understand, Larry Smith being busy doing rapping is why Rick Rubin was able to go in and produce most of Raising Hell. Larry Smith was tied up in '86 producing, scoring that fucking horrible film Rapping that no one wanted him to do.
Yeah.
And as a result,
man, I knew that movie was going to be bad. I remember back that year when the trailer came out and Ice-T said, "Rapping, yo, this movie had to happen." I'm like, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
I should say this is going to be whack. By that time, did whack come out yet?
Yes, because crack was whack. that year it came out. Like we started. It's like we needed a word to describe some of the shit.
All the stereotypes.
Yeah.
They had a lady who's a hooker. Got the man to come in the house. They still in his truck, going around giving everybody oil. I mean, that movie's bad.
Yeah, it was. Well, even the main and the antagonist who was supposed to be like the street bully. I'm like,
my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the white dude. I forgot his name. Yeah, he was like some kind of cowboy or something. And they had a big fight at the end. You know, and Eric LaSalle had the
whip. We're giving way too much time to rapping. This film is the worst.
F-.
This film is the worst.
Yeah.
I don't even know. You can't call it a hip hop film. It's the worst film with music or rapping in it ever made.
Yeah.
It's cringeworthy. It deserves. What's the thing they hand out for bad movies on every actor gets it every year?
The Razzie Awards.
What's the hood Razzie? Trash can? This shit.
Something like that.
This shit gets the gold trash can.
The Whack Awards.
But even at the time, because I remember I watched it. I think I watched it at your crib, and even as a 6-year-old, I'm like, I didn't like it.
We would not watch it as a 6 and 10-year-old. That's how bad it was. That it could not hold the interest of a 6-year-old, 10-year-old. The Golden Dumpster Award.
One saving grace. Homegirl, she was kind of cute.
Oh, the love interest. Yeah, the love interest.
See, that's messed up when you don't even remember the love interest of the movie. Because as a young dude, like you tune into that, I don't even remember it.
But she had the same problem as Ray Dawn Chong. She has some big ass teeth.
That's a big.
You know?
Well, I'll tell you what. Ken, one thing Ken will do is hire some bomb ass fucking females, man. I will give him that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, terrible script, terrible movie, terrible soundtrack. I love Mary Van Peebles, but yeah, the premise.
Rating rapping. I'm not rating that shit.
All right, well, I'll give it an F. All right, just to save Tom, I'll give it an F. I'll give it an F for you too, K. All
If
right.
I was a teacher, I would need to
F-minus.
talk to his parents.
F
Be like,
minus.
I would write some shit. I would write a note home. Be like,
I give it a Z.
You can see.
I would need to talk to rappers' parents to see if there was issues at home because I see issues of neglect and abuse.
You remember?
I wonder if
rapping.
everybody in that movie knew how to rap. Even the grandma was rap. Everybody was rapping in that movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I wonder if Mario showed that shit to his pops. You know, Melvin Van Peebles is a legend in the game. You know, there's that word again. And I wonder if he say, "Yo, pops, man, check out this movie I was in." I can see Melvin with that fucking cigar, with that Melvin look like, son, what the hell were you thinking with this shit? You know,
if the check cleared, he probably didn't care at that point. But we are now moving into the era to where hip hop culture and hip hop music is becoming commercialized. Fred and Barney are rapping now in Fruity Pebbles commercials.
Right.
We have people, you know, in Juicy Fruit commercials rapping, and it's like it's becoming commercialized. The stereotype of what, you know, people they draw certain things out of our culture that they like, and it's amplified. That's why we have Fred and Barney with Run DMC glasses and big chains.
Facts.
If it's popular, it becomes amplified. So in 1985, 1986, because of my boys, we became the shit.
But like I said, at the same time, like I said, that's when the exploitation happened, because, you know, when you watch other movies that are not hip hop movies, you know, I guess the producers say, well, we got to put a little rap in here because that's the thing now. So they'll get a random black actor who lived probably in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying, good upbringing and shit, and then they say, okay, be as hip as you can. So you ever see those movies where you have, you know, the black character that's like the bumbling sidekick, but he was always like acting hip hop, like, man, that's black. Yeah, man, yo, you know, and talking in rhymes and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that they took the culture and exploited it. Like, I give you an example. There was a movie sticks to mind. It's called No Retreat, No Surrender. Jean-Claude Van Damme's first movie. All right. The main character had a black sidekick who used to pop and lock. He spoke in rhymes and he rode a skateboard and he had a fucking jerry curl. And that's all he did throughout the movie.
Horrible. But you know, as the culture got bigger, we was able to take control of our stories and narratives, which leads us to our next film.
Yes. Crush Groovin'. Yes, sir.
Body moving.
Word up. Crush Groove. Probably, I'd say, you know, I mean, I know we all gave Beat Street a lot of love, man, but to me, Crush Groove is like the king of the fucking, to me, it's like the fucking king of the fucking mountain, man. You know what I'm saying? Crush Groove had everything, man.
Studio backing them. They had Warner Brothers.
Facts, Warner Brothers,
And Prince, you taught me this. Had Sheila E. to help be in the movie. I didn't know that until you told me.
They use. I mean, Kay, you probably have more insight about this. I know you talked to D, but from what I read, the way they was able to sell the movie was because Sheila E. was affiliated with Prince. Because if they tried to just sell the Run DMC, you know, Warner Brothers wasn't gonna fuck with them. They needed a name.
Yeah, I remember hearing something like that, and you know, it's well known that Sheila E. and Prince they wasn't into hip hop stuff at that time. That's why that scene in that first scene in The Fever where she's like, I don't really feel hip hop music. That scene is authentic. But yeah, they you know, Warner Brothers they needed another thread to run through the movie. That's why we have the Russell and Sheila romantic thing. And honestly, that's what makes the movie work, because that's what you really don't have in the previous films is some type of emotional depth. You get a love scene, which is your first real love scene in black cinema. 80s, new 80s black cinema, because obviously black cinema existed in the 70s.
Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about hip hop cinema. First love scene, right?
Yeah.
To my understanding,
Ozone couldn't touch Kelly. You didn't see what Special K and Ray Dawn Chong did.
You saw a peck on the mouth. That was it. Yeah.
So now, you know, it's you know, Crush Groove just had a sense of realism because these were actual people that were actually our idols at the time.
Right.
Yeah. It was like a Beatles movie, like how the Beatles had movies or Elvis had movies in the 60s.
Man, yo,
Hard Day's
Till,
Night.
to this day, one of my favorite theater experiences. I went with UK and our older cousins, packed theater, nothing but black people in there, having a great time watching it. You know what I'm saying? And afterwards, walking home, talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was one of the greatest theater experiences to this day that I still always remember. You know what I'm saying? Yo, when LL came out for the first time, the fucking theater went crazy.
Nuts.
When LL did, came out with My Radio.
When Run does his classic, whose house is this routine?
Yeah.
It was just so legendary. But yeah, as you can see now in Crush Groove, Russell is not going to let their story be watered down.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Crush Groove. That's why we love it to this day so much. They watered it down for Hollywood as much as they could.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the story of Rush, and very centralized. That the whole story of how Run DMC came about, and it was revolutionary because it was the first movie to it was happening in real time. When Crush Groove dropped and the first song Crush Groove was King of Rock. King of Rock was the #1 hip hop song in the country at that time. It had just came out. It's like boom, they launched dropped the song, and then the movie really was like one long video.
Mm-hmm.
It was
like you had King of Rock, Can You Rock It Like This, You're Blind, all the Fat Boy song in it. You had another
All You Can Eat,
Chaka Khan song in it. You had the Sheila East. It was nothing but hits in it.
Right.
Nothing but hits, but it was like they were smart. They used the movie to market the song. You cannot watch Crush Groove and that first scene, King of Rock. I had it playing right before I hopped on. I'm 47 years old. I talked to D yesterday. I talk to him every single fucking day. Right now, for those who don't know, and people chime in like, who is KO? For the last 10 years, I produce and play guitar for DMC. Probably at this point, exclusively me and Bumpy Knuckles, who's Freddie Fox, we produce for D. I do the rock stuff and the hip hop stuff. Bumpy Knuckles does hip hop and rock stuff. That's what I do. So my whole, we have a song out now called Ghetto Metal. It's me and DMC, and it's all about rock, King of Rock, and what that did to the world. That King of Rock made me want to pick up the guitar and play the guitar.
Yeah. Got you in the metal too, because you a stretch where you listen to like a lot of metal. So have combine that. I mean, because we was already hip hop heads, but then to combine metal and hip hop and rap, and that's totally. When you know what I'm saying.
If it wasn't for Run DMC, I wouldn't have I wouldn't like guitar. I wouldn't have liked guitar oriented music. But then also the stuff that they were saying. Like they were saying, our DJ, we don't need a band. Our DJ's better than all these bands. Right. As a kid, I was like, okay, I don't need a band. All I need is a guitar, turntable, and I'm the band.
Right.
And then when he said he was the king of rock, that was the most illest shit ever. Rock, I didn't like hip hop. Hip hop was new. To say they was the kings of rock, kings of rap is one thing. They said they was the king of rock, which is the
outrageous. Said that shit with authority. Yeah, so that with authority,
was what made it so ill. And so for Crush Groove to open up to that song, seeing it in the theaters, I had to be like 11 years old. The theater erupted.
Yeah,
I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MC, it was like a party. That's why the first line of Ghetto Metal, me and DMC's new song, is that line from Crush Groove when Curtis says, okay, do it again, and I want rock and roll, baby. Ghetto Metal drops.
Right.
In Crush Groove, King of Rock drops.
Yeah.
When I played that song, like when I first played the song for D, like we was finishing the song Ghetto Metal, and then I was adding different little elements in it. And I threw that little part from Crush Groove in it. And, when you produce for D, it's like he lets me do whatever I want to do. Just make it new and just make it hard and make it tough. But when I throw stuff in from the past, I'm always a little bit weary of it. Like, is he gonna like that? When I threw the Crush Groove shit there, and I played it for the first time, we was in the studio shooting the video, and I was watching his face, like when he listened to it, and it's the Kurt shit. First time he heard that little line in it, and I want rock and roll, baby, and then Ghetto Metal drop, and I was standing behind him. I seen his eyes light up, and he was like, I seen him mouth some shit like, oh shit. So we listened to it, he hit play, he was like, yo, I can't believe you threw that Crush Groove shit there. I'm like, yo, you like that? He's like, yo. He's like, that is so high. Like, no one ever thought to do that. I'm like, yo. And I was telling him why I did it. I'm like, because that movie meant everything to us. It was like when
she was large.
First of all, that first scene is Rick Rubin and you know, Curtis Blow in the studio. Rick Rubin, great producer all the time. He was the engineer back then. He was pressing the tape. He the one that pressed the tape and said, all right, ready to roll, Kurt. Kurt, like, yo, now do it again. And remember, I want rock and roll, baby. I'm the king of insanity. Crush Groove. I'm gonna stop ranting about it. I'm gonna let y'all go about it.
I take you like the movie.
A little bit, right?
Yo,
so that's gonna be hard to top right there.
Yo, my whole life is based on Crush Groove. Talk about a feeling. The last scene of Crush Groove, Blacktastic will tell you, he's a little bit older. It's that feeling will never get old. Crush Grooving, body moving.
That cipher.
When you think about how many artists is not here anymore, Prince Marky D is not here. Buff from the Fat Boys is not here. Jam Master Jay is not here. When I watch Crush Groove, it means so much to me. But you know, now when I watch it now, I think about Jam Master Jay.
Right.
You know, Jam Master Jay, rest in peace. Jay and Jay forever. And it's like,
almost shot LL. yo, Jay, you was about to shoot him, man.
When LL came in with Box.
Hey, yo, man, I said no more dishes. Were you stupid or what?
Yo, I said no more audition. Yo, Jay. But, you know, that movie solidified these guys as being, you know, legendary. And now it's like, this is it where it ends. Like,
damn.
These dudes, not only are they superheroes to many, they are real life superheroes and action figures and comic book characters. They meant so much to us culturally, and it's this movie, Crush Groove, that really, this is a year before their biggest record. Raising Hell was the greatest. This is King of Rock, the record right before it. It was a perfect setup. And people in urban music have been chasing the same setup for years. Afterwards, hit single, artist is big enough, let's do a movie. We've seen it with 8 Mile, Get Rich or Die Trying,
Purple
Glitter,
Rain, even
Glitter, Cold as Ice. I mean, like,
you didn't say cold. You just say Cold as Ice.
I'm talking about movies.
Okay, that followed that blueprint. Okay,
that formula.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
If the entertainer's big enough, give him a movie.
Okay.
Not
that's what I'm saying.
Run DMC, the first group to ever get an endorsement deal.
An endorsement, Yep.
I mean, they changed the game. Fedora, Adidas suits. I mean, what's that? The tongue on the shoes. The turtle tongue.
The shell toe.
They changed hip hop fashion. Yeah, the shell toe. They changed hip hop fashion forever. You know, it's just they had the B-boy stance on the back of their first record. And when King of Rock came out, like he said, man, the audacity to sound the King of Rock, the opening lines of that song, and then I knew that record like the back of my hand. And to hear one of my favorite songs, Can You Rock It Like This, on the big screen? Because they didn't play it on the radio on the West Coast. Can You Rock It Like This? And to hear it in the movie, dun 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 dun.
Yo, Blacktastic, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna put you on a little inside baseball.
What's up?
We're going on tour in a couple months, me and DMC, and I had to come up with a set list of songs like we're gonna do. And you know, for me, all the songs with guitar in them is like perfect songs for us to do on stage. So I play guitar. And I was looking at the set list. I'm like, can you rock it like this?
Mm.
He never does it. And it's like the shit is so hard. Boom,
Yeah.
bam, boom, 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 bam, boom, bam, 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 bam. But a lot of people don't know Curtis Blow's role in that movie. He was really playing. Well, Curtis Blow was a producer and an artist, but he was playing the role of Larry Smith in that movie because Larry Smith was Run DMC.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Larry Smith produced King of Rock and Rock Box and all of those. And Can You Rock It Like This and You're Blind and all those songs from Crush Groove, Larry Smith produced. But he was a producer and Curtis Blow was a popular artist. So Curtis Blow got that role of the producer.
Right.
And then also they needed an established actor to carry this shit. So that's why they got Blair Underwood.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Yeah, I was gonna ask what was the story behind why Russell? Because everybody else played themselves, but how come Russell didn't play himself?
Because Russell ain't no actor, and he
we definitely see that, yeah.
And but he was in the movie. He played the club owner when Running Them was late, and he went up to. He's
like, yo, man, come on, I'm only paying you for 2 songs. But that's all I'm gonna give you is 2 songs.
Yeah. And then, yo, on the real, if you want to talk about acting, that's probably how Russ was exactly at that time. He was the biggest promoter. Everything about this fucking film is great. But I want to talk about just how fun it is. It's like you can watch it years later, and the fat boys in this movie are the unsung heroes. Yeah,
I think they were the heart of the film. I think the Fat Boys were definitely the heart of the film. You know what I'm saying? Because with Run DMC already, when the film opens up, they're already large. They're like, but the Fat Boys are on the come up, so they're the underdogs that you root for throughout the duration. Like you want to see them win in the end. You know what I'm saying? Because from the beginning, they're listening to Run DMC, and it's like, yo, man, the fever, that's all you ever talk about, the fever. No, all you ever think about stuff in your fat face. So, and don't you want to be a star? Yeah. So you want to see them win,
What I love about this movie, and I just watched it again, a little earlier, I had it pumping. Yeah. The first scene, like once King of Rock dies down, and it's the Fat Boys rapping along to it. I'm the king, and then they turn their box off, and you're like, yo, this shit is death.
Yo, them boys are deaf. Yeah.
Yo, everything about them is death. It's like, yo, that's how we all were when King of Rock dropped.
Yes.
It's like the Fat Boys reaction was real.
Was the crowd? Yeah. So the Fat Boys is like the crowd. They were like us watching it through the Fat Boys. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly.
Great point. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. Because I think everyone. Again, like Blacktastic said before, it gave you a blueprint of what to do, what not to do. Don't take that dirty money. Don't take that dirty industry money.
JB. JB was cold, boy. JB, he's so. I mean, I see that actor's been in a lot of stuff, man. I think that role right there, that was his role because he played the shit out of JB, man. He was scary in it.
So did help you, Russell. How much money do you need?
He said, this little bit I'm gonna keep his interest. I want my money, all of it. I'm gonna have to bring you down to your knees, Russ.
To your knees, Russ. Hey, he said fucking full force after that was an ill scene too. Full force. Yo, I know they get a lot of heat because they look, but you did not want to fuck with full force.
Hell no.
Or now. But back in the day, full force was super hardcore.
Yeah.
Full force will knock you the fuck out.
Straight up. And sing to your girl after.
That's why they play bullies and everything.
Yeah.
These dudes, they all was cop diesel. And they
we'll knock you out and sing to your girl.
You say something about that Jerry Curls and shit?
Yeah.
Get knocked the fuck
out.
It
was over.
Yeah. And it was amazing producers. Amazing. Love Full Force. But they were made that movie when they jacked Russ up in the
in the elevator. He said, hey, I understand. He said, man, you don't understand, motherfucker. We want our money tonight. We're gonna rip your shit up all the way.
And then, wait, what about this? And this is gonna happen every day till Jay gets his
money. Love it, man.
So many legendary lines. So many legendary lines from Crush Groove.
Yeah.
I said it before. like how Run DMC act and Crush Groove was like my blueprint on how to act, especially DMC. Like I always tease D about this shit, like the scene where he'd be like, yo man, your brother wanted you to like it more than anybody else, but you had to diss him. Not everything's fucked up. And your brother, you hurt him bad, man. You done? Yeah, I'm done. Nigga bounce. That was I love it, man. Crush Groove.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Crush Groove and Body Moving forever.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack. Soundtrack was banging from beginning to end.
You can't get that soundtrack on Spotify. It ain't available.
Nah.
You can't
Stop
get it.
playing.
Nah,
Wow.
you can't go on any streaming service and bring up Crush Groove All Stars.
I wonder if it's because of any licensing issues, like with some of the songs, some of the tracks on there. You know, especially the Sheila E joints.
Well, Sheila E was signed to Warner Brothers, and I don't see why there would be licensing issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, amazing movie, amazing soundtrack. Because it was a real true story. I don't think any of the acting in it was bad.
Because everybody was playing themselves. You know, everybody was playing themselves. So even in the dramatic moments, like when Curtis Blow steps to Russell about, yo, man, we go too far back to be fighting like this. We shook hands with friends. You know, that shit felt authentic. Yeah, it felt real.
Yo, at the end, Run was showing emotional depth too. To never act before, like you felt hurt, like you felt like he like damn, Russell son of him. Like damn, like
he got those eyes, man. He got those big innocent eyes. Russell does.
Yeah.
It's like you felt like he was getting sun, like, and he was hurt about it. Like he really liked Sheila, and like shit, let's keep it funky. Sheila kind of played him. Like Sheila gave him a kiss and all that. Sheila gave him a kiss and all that, like he said. He putting you on. Not saying you owe him anything at all for this,
right?
But he is putting you up on the biggest stage. He's the biggest artist right now. You're chilling with him all the time. You're chilling at his crib. He's chilling at your crib. He's putting you on. Then you give him a peck. You know, like young street dude gonna get gas, and then you gonna pour cold water on him.
Yeah.
Bro, was
she was wrong for that.
You see how many girls is in here? You think I need it? And you free here in front of me?
Yeah. See, I need this shit. I mean, but Run should have saw that too, because even when Sheila and Russell first met, like the way Run looked at him, like he could see, because he was like, "Yeah, I heard your song. Yeah, it was good, real good." You hear that Force of D's come on, and then Run's looking like, "Yeah, you should have known right then." Nah. She feeling your brother. She ain't feeling you. That's a hard pill to swallow.
It is.
Yeah, but at the same time, Russell was foul in that movie because as soon as shit hit the fan for him, this nigga was stressed. Like Full Force had just whooped all of this shit. He was having flashbacks, everything. a montage.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, shit came to him. Oh shit, Sheila. Went through a crib. Like.
Yeah.
Why, B? And then he couldn't get Sheila shit played. He trying to go around and get Sheila shit played. Sal from the Fever, who DMC also shouts out with our song Ghetto Metal. We talked about Sal from the Fever. Actually, our song Ghetto Metal talks a lot about Crush Groove. So go, check it out on YouTube. The video Ghetto Metal.
I put the link in the description too. Yeah, so I put the link in there. Yeah.
But so he tried to shop Sheila record and he gets fronted on it. He gets fronted on. Then he gets his ass beat. That's when he goes to Sheila's crib. He got nowhere else to go. He showed up Sheila's crib, locked the fuck up. Sheila.
Yo, I mean, am I sensing a wrestling shit video coming?
I sense a Sheila ain't shit video coming.
Oh, Sheila, you know what? Yeah, matter of fact, Sheila,
she played him. She played him.
She was on some other shit.
Yo, next thing you know, it's like flip screen and candles and shit is lit and Tender Mother's playing.
Yeah.
Wow. But Russell just went right in for the kill. Motherfucker, you just got your ass whipped a couple hours ago. Now you about laying up with Sheila?
Yeah. I mean,
sexual healing.
I don't remember what happened. He must have bounced or whatever. And then Run went to Sheila crib looking for Russell. and it's like Sheila answered the door, and Run look in the background, and the bed all messed up and shit.
Yeah.
They had just slept in the bed all night. Russell was like, yo, and she was like, yo, I was about to call you, Run. Where's Russell? Run was
Said,
like,
man, you the one fucked him. Why don't you find him?
Run was like, yo, you the one who fucked him. Why don't you go answer? She knocked the shit out of Run.
Hey, yo, if he does, yo, Run kind of like jumped that like bitch out, like he had to catch himself because he almost slapped the ass back.
That shit was blurring the lines between. Like, I don't see how you can practice that. It's like, yo, he felt that. Like that shit was like real. Like he looked beside her. Don't you ask him you would have fucked him. Like the feelings that Run was catching in that shit felt real to me.
It was real.
Also, it taught me. It was teaching me a lesson. Like, yo, don't really reach. You know, if she ain't feeling you, like she ain't feeling you. Like she feeling your big brother. That's your big brother.
Yeah.
You can't catch feelings or whatever. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like take that as an L. And next time you encounter a woman of Sheila's caliber, you know what to do.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, so a lot of b-boy shit going on in that film. But I love the subplot with the fat boys and trying to find his love. Awesome film. Super fun film. Super fun film.
Word. All right, so grading it, well, Blacktastic, anything else you want to add about Crush Groove?
No, man, I think everything is covered, man. It's the most iconic hip hop film, and if you're a Run DMC fan / Jam Master Jay, it's the perfect film because, like you said, the single drop, the movie drop, then next year and a half, the best album to me in the top 5 of history ever in hip hop is Raising Hell. Run DMC was untouchable. They were my superheroes. They were on the big screen for the first time. Man, I watched some odd movies. Like I did a review last week on a Madonna movie.
Desperately Seeking Susie. I seen that review.
They played Sucker MC 3 different times in that movie. Whenever Madonna would go to the ghetto, in the background, Run DMC was everywhere. My parents knew who they were. They was on MTV. First rappers to be on MTV.
And when you say superheroes, this is the shit that bugs me out.
Yeah.
Like, what if we would have had this? Like, what if this would have came out in 1986? Blacktastic.
Oh my God. It would have been bigger than Star Wars. It would have been bigger than Star Wars in the ghetto.
Little kids across the world would have been like, but you gotta.
You've been fighting over them shits.
You gotta think back then. This probably would have been whack to them. They probably would have been like, yo, we don't want to be no action figure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's you know what I'm saying? Like we want to keep it street.
Yeah,
we ain't making kid shit for little kids. But yo, think about if we would have had these. Damn.
Yeah, that should have been ill. Yo, I'm saying we've been fighting over those, man. But because at that time, you didn't want to be considered a sellout, until Hammer came. And then Hammer, Hammer didn't give a fuck. Hammer said, look, I want cartoons, figures, you know what I'm saying?
Chicken.
Put me chicken, put me on everything. Proper.
Yo, I don't think people really was that mad at Hammer until he started really when you start dancing for chicken, popcorn chicken.
Yeah.
That's something different. Like Heavy D and the Boys had Sprite commercials. That shit was fire.
Yeah.
I like the Sprite and you. We love him for that. We love artists for doing St. Ives commercials, as negative as that was. So it wasn't really about getting the endorsements. It was about what he was endorsing.
The chicken, yeah.
Like Hammer
that was on some Sambo shit right there, man.
Yeah, like you wouldn't have had like Run DMC endorsed Coke. Like they had the same year they got the Adidas deal, they got a Coke deal. Yeah, Coke commercials that you can look up on YouTube. Run DMC Coke commercials. Coke ads, sweepstakes. Go to the store, buy Coke.
That's right.
And as a matter of fact, Blacktastic at the first Fresh Fest, they did a press conference. It's kind of like a famous press conference where it's Houdini, Run DMC, everybody that was on that first Fresh Fest, and it was sponsored by Coca-Cola. So Coke and Sprite is all sitting down at the table, and Run does that freestyle where he's like, and I'm the real thing, like Coke is it.
Yeah,
that's a famous freestyle. So rappers was getting endorsements. It was about what he was endorsing.
Right.
And back then, Run DMC was dropping little singles like Up Tempo, In Between and stuff before Raising Hell came out. They did that one, Here We Go came out. It was a great time for hip hop, and Run DMC was the biggest thing on the planet, man.
You know what's funny? We give Hammer, or people give Hammer heat for endorsing chicken. Now that's a common thing to do. Oh,
yeah.
You get a fast food endorsement. Oh, you know, we got the artist. I don't know. I forget the young lady name. She got the Popeyes chicken.
Oh, it's my Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, and another one got the with the Megan sauce, and then the.
Oh yeah.
Yo, back in the day, you would have got roasted if you would have had a Popeye chicken. Yo, MC Light would have had a Popeye chicken sandwich named after her.
He was a sellout.
Popeye chicken chop. Could you imagine how that in 1989, as Afrocentric as we was in 1988, 89, Blacktastic, a Popeye chicken?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It'd have been over.
It shows you how much the game has changed, and people now it's all about the endorsements. They don't care about music. I got a Popeyes endorsement, motherfucker.
Word.
Fuck, get that paper. It's all about the bag now.
Yeah, get your own meal at Mickey D's. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we get that KO meal at Mickey D's.
Honestly, I think that's. Look, I have a burger out now. It's called the Big KO.
Big KO, I seen that. Yeah.
But you know, like I said, because I like hamburgers. I love gourmet hamburgers. Shout out to Pantano's Deli.
Word.
Go get the Big KO out at Pantano's Deli and Union Deli Hewlett, the Big KO. Shout out to my boy Mike Pantano. But yeah, like I said, I love burgers. I wasn't gonna do a Big KO chicken sandwich.
Something about chicken. Yeah, something about chicken is just making. Right. Yeah, it just ain't right.
I gotta grab my charger. Y'all go on real quick. I'm gonna hop right back.
Okay, all right. So Crush Groove. So I mean, I guess I could speak for Cuz. He's gonna give it an A fucking plus. All right. So what grade do you give Crush Groove?
A plus. It's the greatest hip hop film in history, in my opinion.
Word. All right. So we're gonna jump on because we got two more to cover. You know, we're not gonna take much longer here, so we're gonna jump right into it. The next one is Disorderlies. The Fat Boys. So talking about the Fat Boys. Okay, so the Fat Boys was the heart of Crush Groove, right? And once again directed by Michael. So yeah, we shout out to Michael Schultz too, because Michael Schultz is responsible for like Car Wash, Which Way Is Up, The Last Dragon, Crush Groove, and Disorderlies. You know what I'm saying? Michael Schultz
he was killing the game.
He was killing the game. You know what I'm saying? And so Warner Brothers said, these three obese fellas got some chemistry, got some charisma. Let's give them their own starring vehicle. So 87, Disorderlies comes out. Now we might be divisive on this one because it's a comedy. It's kind of a silly comedy, slapstick comedy. Kind of reminds you of the Three Stooges. But I love the Disorderlies, bro. I love that movie, man. I must rent to that shit. I don't know how many times watched on HBO. I don't know how many times I love the Disorderlies. You know what I mean? So Blacktastic, I'm gonna start with you, man. I can see you like so. You might have a hot take on this one.
I heard him grimace.
By the time when this movie came out, I was done watching cartoons. I was in high school. I was into girls and stuff. So me and my homies went on opening night to go see Disorderlies. When they speed up the camera and stuff, it kind of caught me off guard, but it reminded me of the Three Stooges, just not as good as the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
I had some chuckles. The music was cool. The premise, y'all working at a hospital? I mean,
they're orderlies, man. They're orderlies.
Yeah, you know. But, I thought it was cute. At the time, I was on another level of growing up mentally. You know, at that time. But I love the Fat Boys. They first 5 albums. Now, their third album fell off. Big and Beautiful kind of fell off. But when they came out with Crushing, man, I love the Fat Boys. Love them. Man, the beats was nice. Prince Marky D and his lyrics, man, they had the great voices in hip hop. So they tried. It was comedy. It was a nice step away from your mainstream hip hop movie. It was good to see something kind of funny, but you know, I was kind of outgrew that comedy by the time it came out, but I still respect the film.
Well, I'm gonna ask both of y'all because I'm not sure on this, right? So keep me up with the history here. So did the Fat Boys break up after this movie came out, or was it like a little bit after that? Like when did the Fat Boys break up?
Fat Boys broke up in 1991. They broke up in early 1990.
Okay.
Like 1990. They actually had a record that was real hardcore. Came out in 1990 called Lies. A lot of people probably don't remember it. Lies.
I think I remember that track. Yeah.
Lies. But it was like their last real joint, and it wasn't commercial. It was like it sounded like everything that was going on in 1990. And it was, but right after that, Prince Marky D started producing, so his career took another trajectory.
I remember.
And, but yeah, Fat Boys broke up. They had a couple more in the chamber. Well, the Fat Boys' main problem is, and this movie's problem was, they were so likable and so lovable that you love them in everything. They started doing covers. You know how Run DMC mixed with rock with rap, and Run DMC worked with Aerosmith. Right. They kind of tried to follow a similar formula, except it was reflipping joints from the 50s. So they did like the Beach Boys,
Wipeout. The Beach Boys, I remember that joint. Yeah,
that's when they started to lose it. You starting to lose your hood fan base.
Right.
You reflip Wipeout, and then, but that was a smash hit. That was like Wipeout was like a Billboard #1 hit. So and you can't do that because in those days you get a hit, your company's gonna try to do the same exact fucking thing next time. So therefore, what 50 joint can we flip next? Chubby Checker, The Twist. Let's go. So now you have the Fat Boys in the video. Come on, baby. They were finished.
And also okay. So this movie,
it froze on his face. His face was like,
but I mean, okay. So, but I gotta say, this is probably the beginning of the end too. Also because Disorders, like you said, they're so likable. It's a lighthearted comedy, it's slapstick. But at this time, there's a transition in hip hop. Where now it's moving more into the hardcore stuff, gangster rap era. So now
shit is getting tougher than leather in the streets.
Word. No pun intended, I guess. But
and the Fat Boys were like, like Blacktastic said, he was a couple years older than me. So I saw Disorders when I was like 11, 12. That's right in the fucking 11-year-old, 12-year-old wheelhouse. Because it was just like those movies, like Better Off Dead, like all those John Cusack movies and like Patrick Dempsey and Can't Buy Me Love and all those. It had that kind of feeling, Disorderlies to it. It was like light-hearted comedy. Troy Bayer in that movie, that was another eye opener for me. Troy Bayer was amazing. Looked amazing in that movie. She was I guess the love it. Ralph Bellamy was funny as fuck in that movie.
Yeah, Ralph Bellamy,
Yo, I mean, look, Disorderly is what it is. It's a dumb comedy.
Yo, matter of fact, the to me the funniest scene in that movie, bro, was the funniest part of the movie to me was right before they was getting ready to leave on the plane and they were saying goodbye to their mamas, and the one mom was like, my baby, he's scared, he ain't never flown before. Somebody, he'll be okay. And like, Mom, do I have to go? Yeah, you have to go. Now sit your fat ass on down, make your mama proud. Which I think, that was Harriet. That was Harriet from Family Matters.
You know what was mad funny too? That going back to Crush Groove, that part of Crush Groove in the beginning when he stuffed the fucking pound cake in the lunchbox. Yo, I remember watching that shit with my father back in the day.
Yeah.
My father was like, yo, this fat motherfucker, that shit had a giant motherfucker in the morning before school. Motherfucker baked a fresh bundt cake. It's stuffed in his lunchbox.
Yeah.
That shit bad funny. But yo, Disorderly, it's a fun slapstick comedy. It wasn't like vulgar. And honestly, it could have set the Fat Boys up for a great film career.
Right.
Where's the next movie? Give me a series of slapstick comedies. I'm with it. Imagine the Fat Boys in Weekend at Bernie's. But imagine it's the Fat Boys instead.
Right.
With the dead guy.
I can see that.
Can you imagine how funny that would be? You know what I'm saying?
Like, they could have had a whole like Abbott and Costello. They could have had a whole series of films.
Instead,
right.
Instead, you never see them in another movie.
Yeah, that was it.
And plus, their videos were very comedic back in the day. They had very entertaining videos, so they had the chemistry to do it. Kind of like Kid and Play. Their videos were funny. It transitioned into film.
The Fat Boys could have been in House Party easily. You know what? It's funny if you said that, Blacktastic, because if you remember at that time, as popular as Run DMC was, the Fat Boys were right there in terms of popularity.
Yeah.
They was right there.
In fact, I might even go so far to say that in terms of commercial success, the Fat Boys might have been maybe a notch higher in because Wipeout and The Twist were 2 top 10 records.
Yeah.
And that was the same year. And they were #1 MTV video hits. Like young kids loved those records. The streets
sure did.
The streets were like, nah, the Fat Boys are done.
Yeah.
Commercial, because they kept going. It was Wipeout, The Twist, and then and when you got Chubby Checker in your video.
Yeah, you done. Yeah, you officially went to the Pop-Tart charts.
No, you're trying to go up against everything and Rakim at that time.
Yeah,
you're trying to go against everything that was popping. You got Kane. Like Kane was dropping at that time. Kane, Eric B. Rakim. That was their record company doubling down on something that fucking works. Double down on it. Double down on it. Milk it. And when we're done with it, guess what, Fat Boys? We don't have no use for you. No more movies.
You out of here.
Yep.
No more movies. No more nothing. You're out of here. And that's what it was for the Fat Boys. If it wasn't for Russell, they might have tried to do that to Run DMC too, but Run DMC was too big culturally. Right. Run DMC wasn't doing back. We call back in the day when you did something whack, and like I was saying it before the term whack, it wasn't many terms to describe that. One of the terms was going out. I'm not going out. I ain't going out.
I'm not going out like that.
Yeah. I ain't going out like that. I ain't going out like that. I ain't going out like that. Run DMC never went out. They would never do shit to where you'd be like, yo, Fat Boys doing a joint with Chubby Checker, they went out.
The biggest commercial thing that Run DMC did was in '89, the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack.
And let me tell you something. And I wish D could tap in on it because he was saying that's the darkest period. He hates, Tougher Than Leather, back to hell, back from hell. But if you remember Blacktastic, I know you was there. Ghostbusters really, no one didn't even. That was like you expected joints for movies to be kind of like that. What saved them? It almost went that route. What saved them was Pause. When Pause came out, and look, D hates Pause. Everyone would be like, yo, Run DMC fell with, but Pause brought them back to the streets. Yeah, because that was
Pause was cool because it had musical instruments. It was a new sound. Their best video. That video was hot. And they was Run DMC and Jam Master Jay was dancing in the video. It was
it was that shit brought it to me. I was telling Rashad this last night. Like, yo, they like each time they came back, if they dropped something, they would get the streets right back. They would drop something, and then the culture would change within the period of time. But when they dropped their new song, just like from Raising Hell to Tougher Than Leather, culturally things changed.
Big time.
Big time. I mean, super big time. And where people, by the end of '87, early '88, people were being like, yo, Run DMC fell off. That's what you was hearing that run on the street.
Well, Tougher Than Leather came out a year too late, didn't it? It's supposed to come out.
I was telling Rashad that last night. I broke that down to him last night. If Tougher Than Leather would have came out in '87, we might not be sitting here. The whole game might have changed. Look, you gotta think about it. In '87, Paid in Full came out. Criminal Minded came out. All these hip hop classics came out because Run DMC was on the road being the biggest group in the world. They were playing Madison Square Garden. They were getting
Dog, they were performing at WrestleMania. I remember they had a performance at WrestleMania.
That was a little later on, but they they were doing crazy things. So 87 was a year that everyone was able to come in. First album, Public Enemy, LL Cool J with Bad. All those Paid in Full came out 87. Criminal Minded. So, but if Tougher Than Leather would have came out 87, it would have been, it would have crushed everything that came. If Run's House would have came out 87,
yeah.
Think about it. It sounded groundbreaking. When it came out in 88, it fucked everything up again. It was like, yo, we can't count these motherfuckers out. They back again. When
that single. That
I
single
told
with
Rashad last night, when Run's House dropped, we came out the next day. Like, yo, did you hear that shit? You hear how Run was rhyming?
The beat track, JMJ was killing it on the turntables. Yeah. And then don't forget the B-side.
Beats to the Rhyme.
Thank you.
Beats to the Rhyme, yeah.
Well, you know what? Now that we're talking about this, we got to segue into the last movie.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so real quick, Disorderlies. I enjoyed it. Whatever. I'll give it a C. I think C is a fair grade for Disorderlies.
Super enjoyable. I'm gonna give Disorderlies a B.
Okay.
A B plus. I'm gonna give Disorderlies. You know why? Because it's super fun. My daughters can come in right now. We can sit down, pop popcorn, and watch Disorderlies.
Yeah.
I give it a
fun movie.
I give it a C plus. It's cute.
Okay.
Cute movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it ain't.
And I really like the Fat Boy. So you know, I'm a little biased.
Sir. Yes, sir. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes because I've been waiting for this for the past. We've been on for 2 hours now. All right, Tougher Than Motherfucking Leather.
Wait a minute. First of all, I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why it has to go last because it's the last movie. But I don't understand why. Like, let me just take the wind out of the sails.
Understand what? Understand what?
Let me cut your promo short right now. It's a bad movie.
I wasn't even gonna say that, but since you wanna put it out there, it's a bad movie. Okay.
Hell yeah, it's a bad movie.
I took the wind out of sails, Blacktastic.
But I wasn't even gonna say that. I wasn't even gonna say that. Nah, I
was being diplomatic.
I was being all I was gonna say is that Tougher Than Leather was the last of an era. You know what I'm saying? Because after Tougher Than Leather, we had a renaissance of black filmmakers. So now, because like a year after Tougher Than Leather, you have Do the Right Thing, House Party, New Jack City. So we have like this emergence now of good quality black films. But Tougher Than Leather is the last of the hip hop joints of the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Or you can say it's the first movie in the classic hip hop films of the 90s.
Okay.
Because it's really the film that was the bridge.
Okay.
Honestly.
That's fair. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Fair. Yeah. But it wasn't. But there's reasons, due to execution on why it didn't work.
Execution why it didn't work? Okay. I could say. Okay, go ahead, Blacktastic. Take it. Yeah.
Number one, your producer shouldn't be your director of the movie, Rick Rubin. That was a bad choice. That was number one. And I'm turning it over to you. That's the main reason.
Okay, the direction, the movie didn't have a consistent tone. Like there were times where it was trying to be a musical, then it was trying to be a gangster movie, then it was trying to be like a knockoff spaghetti western, then it was trying to be a blaxploitation film, then it became a revenge tale. You know what I'm saying? After they killed your boy, I forgot what his name was. Was it Ray? Yeah, Ray. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So this movie was like all over the place, and it had no fucking like at least with Crush Groove, it was just straight up. You know what I'm saying? This is about the come up of Rush of you know what I'm saying, Russell Simmons.
Everything you just named is what a black exploitation movie was. It's a movie about revenge. It's a movie about this. It's a movie that has music in it. You know what I'm saying? Like like again, when you say hip hop movie, now we're moving into the realm. These motherfuckers aren't really playing themselves. They're still running deep, but now they're fictionalized versions of themselves.
Yep.
So it's just started off with that. It's an action movie. It's a bad action movie. It's a okay, I'm not even gonna say action. It's a at its core, it's a black exploitation movie from the 70s that was just they took the same classic tropes, the slow guy getting killed, the anti-hero coming home from jail, how D came home from jail.
Which they never went to again. It's like you have this scene where he gets out of jail, runs in there, pacing back and forth. Yo, man, niggas come out of jail, they're not the same person. Yo, man, you can be mad at us? I don't know, but I know he's not the same person. Hey, yo, there he is right there. Never go back to that again. After that, D just straight up B-boy mode the whole time. Huh?
He catching batons from cops.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about when this movie dropped again. Yeah. I didn't see this in theaters. It was such it dropped. It had maybe like a month theatrical release and it was gone.
Woo.
Right.
It bricked. They did not care. They wanted it to come and go. But again, like I was telling Rashad, it's almost like the movie is a companion for the Tougher Than Leather album.
Mm-hmm.
Because make no mistake about it, that blue fucking album, Tougher Than Leather, people are on the fence about it, but to me, Tougher Than Leather, Pound for Pound, it could be my favorite Run DMC joint. The Tougher Than Leather album has the single Tougher Than Leather, which is just unconceivable, unbelievable. Grandma like the hammer, let me make it receivable. Simp Father, the way they're screaming on that track.
Mm.
When you tell me that I'm loud and I'm from that era.
I never said that about you, man.
Well,
never.
Well, I'm not loud. I'm New York. I'm B-boy. I project. I'm from that era. We wasn't.
You know, I have those tendencies too, bro. I came in front. I have those New York tendencies as well, man.
But it's not. It's power rap.
Yeah.
Where they used to rap. Unconceivable. It's like if power forwards is a team with no guards. It's all just power forwards. It would be like
Run
DMC, Chuck D, LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't rap finesse. This is power rap.
Right.
So you have Run DMC, Tougher Than Leather, the single, Beats to the Rhyme, which is probably the top 5 of their greatest shit.
Yeah, that's one of your hardest joints. Yeah, I love that track.
Just those two joints alone, Beats to the Rhyme and Run's House. Beats to the Rhyme and Tougher Than Leather, and then you throw in Run's House. That was the lead single from the album Tougher Than Leather. This is why I was saying that the movie really didn't make a difference. The movie was just, oh shit, another thing called Tougher Than Leather is really not good and we fucked it up. But the album is gonna save us. And it did.
Yeah.
Because no one gave a fuck about that movie once Run's House dropped. Blacktastic, you was there. Am I right?
Opening night, me and my two homies went. They're from Long Island and they moved to Sacramento, right? So they East Coast. We are hardcore Run DMC fans. We went that night, and when that movie dropped, and when it was over, we looked at each other like, "Motherfucker, what did we just watch?" The third act, they're fighting against the antagonist. Run DMC, we calling you out. I'm like, this nigga.
Yeah.
Yo,
it was the worst acting I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and I was confused because everybody's playing themselves. Everybody's playing themselves, right? So Rick Rubin is playing a totally different. So I'm like, wait a minute. So Russell's playing himself. Run DMC. Everybody's Beastie Boys. Everybody. I said, so why is Rick Rubin a fucking mafiosa? I'm like, I'm lost.
Because he grew up like Quentin Tarantino, wanted to be somebody. You get a white boy money like that. They got black friends. They want to be this person, and they put him in the director's chair. And that's why he wanted to be the big battle in the movie. And plus, there's one saving grace in this whole movie. Besides Run DMC's performances on stage, man, Slick Rick, that scene when he's on stage.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The crowd.
Treat like a prostitute,
We lost our minds. Slick Rick.
And that was, again, these motherfuckers were smart. They was dropping these movies that had songs that were currently out. She was like
Yeah.
a prostitute was like, it was burning up the airwaves. Or
Yeah.
you heard it on the mixtape tip.
Yep.
Like, and then it's Slick Rick with no eye patch on. His eye is like.
It took me a minute to figure out who he was. I'm like, wow, I say he sounds like Slick Rick. And then I look, I said, that is like Slick Rick.
The Beastie Boys are heavily in this shit too.
Yeah. Yep.
Honestly, I think this is the movie that just destroyed Def Jam. Because after this, it was like the Beastie Boys left, Rick Rubin left. It was like Run DMC.
I'm surprised LL wasn't. I mean, I guess LL was smart enough not to be in it because LL was like the face of Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? So I'm surprised LL wasn't.
Again, this movie was shot in 1987.
Ah, okay.
Well, actually, D sent me. I'm about to yap through this shit. D sent me.
Because LL blew up around 87, right?
No, he was his second album dropped, Big and Deffer, and he was, with I'm Bad, and he was on top of the world at that time.
Okay,
but
okay.
D was, cool enough. I had hit him with some questions about Tougher Than Leather, and this is what D tapped in to say. All right, Tougher Than Leather was filmed in NYC in the Village, all around Houston and Broadway, which is where the Rush offices was, the Def Jam offices was back in the day. And at the local restaurants and clubs on Elizabeth Street. So it was filmed in the city, guerrilla style, Tougher Than Leather. It was filmed all around, Def Jam offices and stuff like that. Filmed for 6 months, and including reshoots. So it was filmed in 87. So you got to remember when they was filming it, they are the largest group in the world. They are rocking Madison Square Garden as they're filming it. They are on top of the world. You can't tell them this movie's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they're filming their performances. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're filming it as it goes along, just thinking like, yo, ain't no way it's gonna be bad if we in it. Because we the illest. So
okay, let me say this though, man. So I know it seems like I'm really shitting on this movie, and I am, but I want to give a positive. One thing that I did like about this movie was DMC himself. D to me was the best part of this movie because the whole time all he ever did was just stand back with his glasses on, posted up. You know what I'm saying? You touch his glasses, you got snuffed. You know what I'm saying? When they had that bar fight, they're all fighting. D sitting there drinking his beer, just chilling.
Yo, and Rashad will tell you, my older brother. These are my older brother's glasses right here.
Yeah.
These frames with my older brothers back in the day. They ain't got no lenses in them. Ain't had lenses in them since like 88, 89. These are
that was Chris.
These are my older brother's actual glasses. And so I had an older brother that looked just like DMC. He wore glasses just like D, and his demeanor was always like this.
Always, all the time.
That's a trip.
My brother Chris, I love you. My brother Chris, they call him TC, Too Cool. He was the illest B-boy.
A fucking atomic bomb can go off. Everybody's running. Oh shit! Chris is standing there like this. Shit ain't nothing.
Yeah, the bomb went off. It was that B-boy shit. But I asked D because I always about this movie. When I saw it when I was a kid, I saw it when I was 14. I read it on VHS. How many breakaway bottles they broke in this shit? It felt like every scene they were smashing bottles over motherfuckers' faces. That's what I loved about it. Talk about superheroes. The movie was bad, but Run DMC are just going around kicking people's ass.
I will say that,
Yo, think about it. I don't think that you've ever seen a hip-hop film, so-called hip-hop film, or one of these urban films where the main characters are playing like, that's why I said it's an action movie, because they're going around beating people up.
That's true. I never thought
Did they do that in House Party? Did they do that in Beat Street? Did they do that in Disorderly?
But hold up, before you go comparing that shit, first of all, okay, they're going around so one scene they're beating somebody up, and then the very next scene they're on stage performing, and then the next scene I'm like, wait a minute, are they fucking hip hop artists or gangsters? What the fuck are they like?
Doing?
I didn't understand.
Both. That's what was going down back in '87.
Ah, shit.
What do you see? Not saying they were beating people up and shit like that, but but again. What the fuck do you want? Literally, somebody would get shot in the head. Boom, next thing you know, beats to the rhythm of the rhyme. I'm like, whoa. We're not going to acknowledge that somebody just got killed, and now they're performing. They gave you a nice hood montage.
Oh,
a nice
man.
action month. Look, again, are you looking for great cinematic quality in this film?
No, but give us something with some kind of quality,
got,
knowing that
brother,
this motherfucker, that the director knows what they doing.
I'm telling you, Rick Rubin was the problem from the start, and that's why it came out the way it did.
Yeah, like
I can't fault Run DMC.
Yeah, no blame to them, but like, bro, even like there's not one single wide shot in this movie. Everything is close up. Everything is run. Look in the camera doing this shit. You know.
Yo,
it's all close-ups. You know.
Was probably reshoot. I can tell you that the live shit was probably the stuff that was a reshoot.
Okay.
Because I could probably almost guarantee that Beats to the Rhyme was done in early 88 or late 87.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they just probably went and filmed those performances and just cut them in. And let me say this also.
Yeah.
The performance of Beats to the Rhyme, shout out my man DJ Hurricane.
Okay.
Who long time Hollis crew member, the first and best DJ for the Beastie Boys, my dude DJ Hurricane. Talk about DMC and his b-boy demeanor.
Yeah.
Hurricane is the illest b-boy of all time. Period. Okay, look at any Run DMC performance from that era, whether they on Soul Train and you always see Hurricane. He looked just like D without glasses. Right? Hurricane and DMC and Jam Master Jay, that performance of Beats to the Rhyme from Tougher Than Leather, legendary. DMC got the hoodie on with the chain around.
That shit was hard. That was hard.
That's the first time you ever saw that.
Yeah.
You gotta remember they were the kings at that time. But the reason why I like the film, and look, it's bad. Rick Rubin acting is bad. I don't want to dump it all on Rick. I mean, look, at least he got the film made. They gave him money. You know what? We're gonna make a film, put everybody in it. It was fucking bad. He should not have been acting in it. Maybe doing
what the hell was up with the fucking little drum cues? Like you hear that throughout the whole movie. I'm like, dude, are we like tap dancing or some shit? You know?
Yo, who scored that? Yo, damn, I should have been around back then. I would have had some harder shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm expecting somebody to just come out and just start tap dancing out of nowhere.
You expect fucking Michigan J. Frog to come out?
Something, you know,
little frog come out with a cane, like, yeah, that was bugged out.
I forgot about that.
Rick's acting in this was so even again. Now we know what. By the time this movie came out, I knew what the term whack was. You knew what the term bad was. Rick was just bad in it. But you pardon him for it back then, and you still pardon him for it because he's the one of, if not the greatest producer of that era and of all time.
Right.
Without Rick Rubin, you don't get, what came afterwards.
Right.
And let me tell you, Beastie Boys, License to Ill.
Yeah.
Rick Rubin, like, look, I tell you, Machado, working with DMC and producing music for him, I have to be Rick Rubin and Larry Smith. And when I combine them two together with my own shit, that's DMC's new sound. Rick Rubin is just amazing. We pardoned him for this movie back then because he was the fucking, we knew from Crush Groove what his role was. Rick was the man. It's like Crush Groove almost gave you the blueprint of who these guys really were, and then Tougher Than Leather was like fantasy. It's like, look, you know who these guys are.
True.
The Crush Groove. Yeah. This is not real Tougher Than Leather.
Yeah.
When I was asking D about the breakaway bottles, it felt like 250.
No, it was just that. It was just that one scene where they was at the bar and they had that fight.
But they broke a lot of bottles in that fucking scene.
Lot. Yeah.
But he said they made 50, and they was made of sugar and water. They didn't have an endless supply, and it wasn't like a Hollywood blockbuster stunt budget. So you got to remember, even though they had paper, they didn't have a budget. It was still a low budget movie. He wasn't giving them millions. The budget was probably under $1 million, definitely.
But overall, listen, this movie this is one of those it's so bad it's good because listen, I can watch this again. I will watch it again, and I can watch this over rapping. Okay, of course, the critic in me, I can't help but just to point out. But I watched this last night drunk, and I had a blast with it. You know what I'm saying? I was texting you last night, like, yo, why Russell Simmons look fucking older 30 years ago than he does now? You know what I'm saying? I had fun with this movie. I did.
Because he got 30 more million than he did then.
Right.
But yo, I mean, look, Tougher Than Leather is not watchable to me as much as Crush Groove. Again,
not even close.
I would probably watch the performances from Tougher Than Leather, and I like. Well, honestly, I mean, there's certain songs in it. Like there's a song by a group called the Junkyard Band.
Oh yeah.
Sardines, and that boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And look, the soundtrack is all Rick Rubin music and shit.
Yeah.
The shit is hard, but it's bad.
Wait. Did you say you could watch the performances in Tougher Than Leather over Crush Groove?
I said it's not as watchable as Crush Groove.
No, I'm saying like as far as the song number, the song performances. You say you could watch the ones on Tougher Than Leather over the ones in Crush Groove. So you can watch Beats to the Rhyme. I was about to say. Okay.
What makes Tougher Than Leather watchable is the song performances.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's a horrible movie, but just before we give our ratings, let me just. I asked D about he said Beats to the Rhyme and Mary Mary was chosen because those were the singles off the Tougher Than Leather album. So like I was saying, they were setting this movie up as a vehicle for the album. Yeah. Think about it. You have a album, a movie that's going to release limited release, a month and a half release to set up the album. They didn't care what the movie did. Movie sucked. Yeah, we know we ain't movie stars and we ain't actors or directors. Check this new album out though. Beats to the Rhyme and Mary Mary, top 10 hit. Yep. Commercial.
Well, you know what that was another one of those performances where Run kept looking into the camera during that performance. Yeah, Mary, why are you bugging? I'm like, dude, stop looking in the camera.
What do you want? And at that point, they were shooting a music video to be cut into the film. You know what I'm saying? Like, Blacktastic will tell you at that time, they was running two versions of the Mary Mary video. One was like the real version of the video, and one was a version that was cut right from Tougher Than Leather. Yep. Same thing with Beats to the Rhyme. They dropped a video that was cut right from Tougher Than Leather with scenes from the movie and scenes from that performance. That's honestly what made. We didn't care about the movie. We just cared about those performances of those songs because the song was so legendary. So leading from that movie, you had Run's House, Beats to the Rhyme, and Mary Mary. No one gave a fuck about the movie. They were back when Run's House dropped. But that's the reason why those songs were chosen to do in the movie, because those were the singles. And he said the reception of the film was lukewarm, he says. It didn't have the professionalism of Crush Groove, which was directed by Michael Schultz. But, now it's a cult classic and one of those cheap films that are great. Everyone remembers it when it came out back when. He's realistic. DMC is realistic about it. It's a cult classic and the cheap film is great. And he sums it up perfectly. It's like a cheap film. I'm not going to say it's great. It's a cheap film it's a cheap film that's great to me. Because there was elements of it, like I said, like to see that Jam Master Jay to act in that movie, now that he's not here, you realize how legendary that shit is. Those scenes and that role. To see him act, to see him be funny, to see him interact. Buddy Ray is no longer with us as well. To see him in a movie, and you gotta remember, this is all Run DMC homeboy. He put a homeboy on. Homeboy, you in the fucking movie, you got a main role in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
That's large, so that's large, yeah. I mean, matter of fact, it's funny you said because I was getting I don't know if y'all seen that Master P movie Unbotted, but it kind of reminded me of that Unbotted movie, cheaply done. Yeah, cheaply done, very low budget, say horrible acting, but for what it did for you, like you said, what it did for people, how you put everybody on, put his whole family on, put his homies on, everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what it meant to people is more, I guess, more important than the actual movie itself. He said nobody give a fuck about the movie, but what the movie did.
Again, it was more about the album because the album had
the
album like that blue cover, Tougher Than Leather with the huge Run DMC letters.
Yeah,
it was as large as because Paid in Full had just dropped and Eric B and Rakim and KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane with a new school. They were about to do to Run DMC what Run DMC had did to Flash in them. Except Run DMC had something that Flash and them didn't, which was every time they came back out, they had that fucking weight of at least 2 killer singles. Say what you want about Run DMC's any album, you can say, "Oh, that album was whack. I don't like that album." I've been producing for DMC for 10 years. You know, I have my favorite albums and I don't. But every single, I cannot name not one bad single, except like my man Blacktastic said, Ghostbusters. But even them would be like, no, we flipping that shit over. Pause. So think about it, Blacktastic. Every single, and even the next album, Back from Hell, which was their lowest album, you still had the
Pause.
Pause. The Av. What's It All About? Those are all killers. You know,
one more.
The
one that
one of my favorite DMC joints. You know, The Avenue and What's It All About. So you know, they always had.
Yeah, I love that one.
The killer fucking singles, and this, you know, the movie I think was just a something to launch the album. With the Tougher Than Leather album, so it went platinum, which was still.
Is that the highest selling album, or was Raising Hell the highest selling?
Raising Hell sold 3 million. Tougher Than Leather sold 2 million. So it was a disappointment because it didn't sell more than Raising Hell, but it was a tremendously huge album. And like I was telling Rashad last night, Blacktastic, also the other thing that they was doing right after the movie, it's like the badness of the movie was forgotten because the singles were dropping, and then in summer of '88, a couple months after the movie dropped, pilot episode of Yo MTV Raps. The pilot episode was Run DMC on the Tougher Than Leather tour. And
I forgot about that. Yeah.
On that tour was EPMD, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Stetson Sonic. That was all their first tour. EPMD, Public Enemy was on that tour too. And my
stacked. Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna fuck y'all head up.
Classic.
My first show was on that tour. And for those that don't know, me and Rashad, we have a cousin. Our cousin Charlene was married to Professor Griff from Public Enemy, and they have a family together. And so, like, when I was a young man, I met DMC when I was 13 at a Public Enemy show, and then I went on years later to work with him. So I met. But one of my first shows were on the Tougher Than Leather tour, right? And me and my cousin Charlene we was in the front row and down the pit, and we took these 2 photos, a bunch of photos that night, and this is Run DMC on the Tougher Than Leather tour. Front row, picture taken by me. Yeah. DMC standing down, Run as well. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, yeah.
This is pictures I pulled out my stash. If you look at the back of these pictures, they say, if you look at the back, they say January 1989.
Damn.
This is when this shit came out. This is one of my first shows at the Philadelphia Spectrum.
Yeah.
This is the Tougher Than Leather tour. This is why that movie didn't make a difference. It set up the album, the tour.
You're right.
They were still the kings. Like the pilot episode of Yo MTV Raps. They were live, like on stage and on the tour bus, and the Fresh Prince was he was the lowest on the bill at that time. So this is the era we're talking about, and that's why, in hindsight, the badness of this movie is forgotten. But like when for me as a kid, when I look at I couldn't find these pictures for months, and I finally pulled them out. And when I pulled them out, man, it almost brought me to tears, man. Like, I was in the front row taking this picture in 1989. And now yesterday, to prepare for this interview, I called D like, yo, And he was like, yo, let me think about it. I'll write it down and I send it to you. I'm on the phone with this guy. I'm making music. We took
for 10. You said 10 years now, man. I didn't realize it was that long. 10 years. That's crazy.
Down with the King for years, about 10 of them. Now it's actually 9.5 years we've been rocking together, but the songs that we're doing now are just amazing. And like I said, we talked about this whole discussion was about what these films meant to us.
Right.
I was a kid who's enamored with Crush Groove. It gives me goosebumps. So to work with this guy is the greatest honor of my career. It's like I don't care about doing nothing else. I don't care about producing for nobody else at this point besides myself and him and projects that we do together. The next records that we have that are coming down the pipe are even bigger and better. And people are saying he's saying that it's his best record ever. DMC told me that Ghetto Metal is his best record ever. Now this
Ghetto Metal was hot.
But this is coming from a diehard fan. I'm like, yo, D, don't say that. And he's like, no, what you gotta understand is it's my best record ever. It's not just it's not Run DMC. It's Daryl.
Right,
it's King DMC's best record. And in that respect, I'm like, you know what? I get it. It's like because it's hard producing for somebody so fucking legendary. I don't want to do nothing whack. But at this point, I know exactly what to do because the music that we like, I give them that because I study films like this and I know the history of films like Crush Groove, Beat Street, Wildstyle, what Crush Groove meant, what Tougher Than Leather meant. I'm not just a producer. I'm a guy, and I think that to tie everything up is a great way. That's what makes these films great because you can go back and study and get a blueprint. Like I got a blueprint while watching these films. If I don't throw that little part from Crush Groove and Ghetto Metal, maybe Ghetto Metal doesn't have the impact that it does for D. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like tying everything together, but always still trying to be new. Not trying to make it sound like exactly like King of Rock, but making it feel like that shit.
Right. And that's hard, and that's a difficult thing to do. And the fact that you was able to pull that off is fucking brilliant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you listen to a Ghetto Metal, like you said, you're not copying King of Rock, but it does give you that feeling of how you felt when you heard King of Rock. And that's what's special about the track, you know. And
I was able to do that, fam, by we talked about it by immersing myself in that era, going back, watching television from '85, watching commercials from '85. I'll watch blocks of commercial blocks from that year. I'll look at what was hot on the charts. I'll watch episodes of Solid Gold and Soul Train from 1985 to where, because I was there, I remember it. It's just in a chamber that needs to be pulled out. When I did Ghetto Metal, I told y'all I got to go back to '85, and I stayed there, and I was 85 for like 6, but then you have to snap yourself out of it.
Yeah.
But I was able to capture that sound. With our new record that we got and the new joints that we're doing, we got the Ghetto Metal remix coming with MOP.
Crazy.
Couple other cats I can't talk about, but I want to drop it so bad, but I'm gonna wait. Ghetto Metal.
Yeah, bro. Like this stuff that you're dropping right now, to cut you off, but that stuff they're dropping right now, man. I can't wait for the world to hear it, man. Can't wait. Got some it's fucking bangers. Yeah.
Honestly, it's better to me. I don't want to say it, but I think that we improved on what we did on Ghetto Metal, and it's going to hit harder, and it's going to be even bigger and crazier. But it's all about new. When I talk to D, it's all about him being new. Not everybody always want to, DMC from Run DMC. And if you don't know where he's from or what he's about by now,
shit ain't for you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the songs that we do now is establish himself as a solo artist outside of kind of like when Paul McCartney left the Beatles when he had Wings.
Right.
Me and DMC me and him are like Wings.
Nice.
And so as me and him, I'm going to just stay in my role as producer and a guitar player because I know in terms of hip hop production or urban production, nobody can do what I can do. And this is when it comes to, this is why I do get loud. I do become a B-boy. And this is where the DJ comes out of me because I challenge any producer in hip hop to pick up one of those things with 6 strings on it and get busy like me. Come on, this ain't a plug-in. This ain't no studio tricks. I get busy. I rock with the king of rock, so I have to rock. I can't front. Say I could do it. No, every one of those riffs from Rock Box, King of Rock, you talk too much, you're blind. Every one of those riffs I know back and forth because it was the first riffs I ever learned because of those movies. You know what I'm saying? Word. So I say all that to say this. There's a lot of new music coming, but these movies and these movies that we love are really a snapshot of the era and a blueprint on really how to do it. You can pull something from each one of these films, whether it's Wildstyle, whether it's Beat Street. Yeah. Beat Street would teach. Beat Street taught me a hell of a lesson as a young man. Stay the fuck out of dangerous situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a chance for a come up or opportunity, maybe you don't need to be somewhere where you don't need to be. Like Special K.
Well, I want to say this real quick. I noticed this whole time, over 2 hours, you kept saying, "Yeah, Blacktastic, you was there." You act like I wasn't there, nigga.
Blacktastic, how old are you?
I was there too.
How old are you, Blacktastic?
51.
I'm 47. How old are you, Rashad?
I'm 42.
Gotcha.
I was a shorty, but I was there.
But he'll tell you the age, those 3 years of age are whole eras.
Yes, they are.
When we're talking about cultural impact, 2 or 3 years is an era.
Yeah.
We talk about how much shit changed between 86 and 1988. Between, in hip hop.
Oh, yeah, big change.
The sound, everything changed.
Yeah.
Everything. So you was there. Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't want to downplay it, but
I'm just fucking with you though, man. I'm just fucking with you.
But Blacktastic made a great point. He saw Disorderlies when he was in high school.
Yeah.
I was in like elementary school when I
was like 7. Yeah, I was 7 when I saw Disorderlies.
I was in like 6th grade. I was about to hit junior high. He was in high school. So Disorderlies is corny to him, but it's right in my 12-year-old wheelhouse.
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's different. Each generation is different, but if you were there and old enough to really experience the danger of some of this, it wasn't an easy walk in the park to go to the movie theater and see an urban movie.
Nah.
I was at Green Acres Theaters when The Godfather 3 got shot up.
Oh, okay. I tell that story all the time. Blacktastic, remember? I was saying Godfather 3. So you was there. You was there when that happened.
Yes.
Oh, shit. I ain't know that. Yeah.
We only had one movie theater in all of Queens. Green Acres.
We had the RKO, which was like where all the hood movies went, but then Green Acres was, that's where all the big
RKO
movies was.
wasn't getting a big movie like The Godfather. I saw Godfather at Green Acres Theater, and the shit got shot up. And it wasn't... Yeah. And honestly, I was in the theater. I saw Crush Groove again in the theater, where during that part, when Run and them did the Run's House thing, where it got shot up during that part. We saw it twice. We took you one time, and then me and my brother circled back and saw it again. And that time, people wild out when it got to, "This is my motherfucking house," because people. That movie was so hot, people were going back to see Crush Groove the second and third time. Yeah. And we're talking about the era where people in the theater smoking weed, drinking beer.
What? You can smell the weed in that motherfucker.
It was raw. And I'm talking about when it got to the Run's House part, "This is my motherfucking house." Somebody pulled out and popped a shot in the air. Pop, pop.
Damn.
And the whole theater just wild out, but nobody was going to leave. It's like pop, pop. Oh shit, word. Eating popcorn. So it's like it was crazy.
Man.
You can see, have you ever see a movie with a ruckus happening in the movie theater, and you can see the film like separate on the screen, and the shit flicker, and then the house lights come on. I swear to God, the shot popped off. The film flickered, the house lights came on, somebody came over the intercom, everyone exit the theater, the showing of the movie over.
Oh shit.
You had 150 black kids, or all kinds of kids, not just black kids, all kinds.
Yeah.
Because this is the walls have been broken down. That's another thing we have to shout out Run and DMC and these movies for breaking the walls down.
Yes.
Where now, you know, my friends that I went to school with, my white friends, they can watch stuff in the comfort of their own home, watch Crush Groove, understand what's going on in my life and culture, and then we come back to school and it's unity.
It was they had universal appeal. Run DMC.
You can watch a movie like Beat Street, but it was before Run DMC. It was the impact of hip hop films. They can watch Beat Street and then come back to school with an understanding of what it was. But yeah, Ruckus at the theater, Crush Groove. The cops came. It was like 100 kids out in front of the movie theater, and no one gave a fuck. It was like that era was just. It was a great time to be alive, great time to be there. But again, we can all feel these great films again, and we just try to push forward and do new things. Like all these legendary artists are still here. Melly Mel is still here. Run DMC is still here. LL Cool J is still here. And these artists, we have to still support them when they drop music. Right?
Word.
Absolutely.
I'm with it. Yeah,
urban
for sure.
culture and hip hop culture is the only genre that doesn't celebrate its legends properly. You never hear.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, all these new artists. Yeah, all these new artists. They don't. Yeah.
You don't hear anything about the Rolling Stones' age or when it comes to them touring and doing new music. To whereas urban fans always, it's like, it's like they don't revere the legends as much as other genres revere their legends.
Damn,
you're right. What I'm saying? Like Run DMC and the pioneers of hip hop are supposed to be on a level like these young artists that come out. Put it like this: new rock artists that come out, they know exactly who the fuck the Beatles are. They know exactly who Led Zeppelin is. They know exactly who AC/DC is, Metallica. They grew up playing their songs to become a current band. Our culture is the only culture to come out to where these new artists, hip hop artists come out.
They have no idea.
They have no idea. They don't give a
no
fuck
fucking
who
idea.
Is.
Nope.
They don't know what the message is. They don't know. Whereas a rock or a metal new group, they would know who the pioneers of that music is.
Damn, that's some real talk.
That don't demand on new artists to be like, yo, you don't know who the fuck Run DMC is? You don't know the cultural impact of Sucker MC? You don't know what the Beastie Boys did to break down doors? You don't know what, I mean, it's
like even LL, people forget how large LL was when he dropped, man. If you bring up LL to the average, who the fuck is LL? They talking about that guy from CSI? No, man. My radio.
That's what I'm saying. Any current fan of new rock music knows who the fuck Led Zeppelin is.
Damn. Yeah, you're
right.
right.
Who's the top 5? If I go to the rock chart right now, who's the top new rock artist? If I go to that artist right now and ask them, yo, what's your favorite Led Zeppelin song? They're gonna rattle off 5 to me. If you go to the top 5 most popular hip hop artists right now, I don't even know who it is. Can anybody chime in? Who's the most popular new current hip hop artist right now?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, I always hear a few names, but like, who's the mumble motherfuckers? Those mumble rapper niggas.
Little somebody. Let me ask little whoever. Name me one song each from Run DMC, Public Enemy, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, Houdini. They couldn't do it.
No.
They're going to their level stops at Jay-Z and Biggie. It don't go before that.
I mean, except for probably our kids, because we school our kids on like my daughter, she'll name some Run DMC, you know what I'm saying? Because
I'm not even talking about the generation. I'm talking about the artists.
Oh, the artists. Okay, I got you. The artists.
The new current artists. Who's the most popular artist? Little Baby. Okay, Little Baby. What's your top 5 Run DMC song? He'll probably stop it.
Look it. I mean,
give me a spiel on why I don't need that.
And then when you ask them, they say something ignorant to disrespect their artist.
Yeah.
That's what hurts.
Know it because
I tell you, I tell you one motherfucker I can't stand is Kodak Black. Kodak Black is famous for that shit. If you ask Kodak Black Run DMC, Man, but I don't know about the motherfuckers, man. On listen, all I know niggas, get my money, cuz, when Run DMC, I mean, I guess they were legends at the time, man. But you know what I'm saying, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me.
They don't realize that. They don't realize
this ignorant, just stupid.
They don't realize that. Look, I was thinking about it earlier. To wrap it up, that these young guys don't realize the impact. I just take Run DMC out the equation.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here. Take Run DMC out the equation. I don't produce Get Rich or Die Trying. Because there is no Jam Master Jay to put 50 on to sign 50 Cent in 1996.
Facts.
It would be a butterfly effect to where the stripes go off my arm. Shit start disappearing off the wall. This action figure. Like, think about it. Think about how many bloggers, entertainment guys, managers, sample clearance people, all these people in urban music. That all these careers that exist, all these subgenres, the number one podcaster right now, urban podcaster, my man Math Hoffa sitting in the barbershop.
Word, that's my shit. I love that.
Or millions dollar worth of game with my dudes Gilly and them. All this hip hop, all these things that came that hip hop guys are doing, it's all because of fucking Run DMC.
Yeah.
Their explosion. What if after the message, like we started off talking about the message and Planet Rock, right? What if sucker MCs don't drop after the message and Planet Rock? What happens? Prince still comes, or Michael Jackson still comes, and then we have Jerry Curls in the 90s. Me and you, now we have S Curls and Jerry Curls in the 90s. There is nobody to look towards. There will be no NWA.
Yeah.
Maybe West Coast music stays with the Jam Pony and shit.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Maybe it stays electro funk out in LA. Like Run DMC influenced Ice-T, who influenced Dre and them, and Q and Easy to do Boys in the Hood. Like,
right.
Without Run DMC taking it from what was happening in the parks, we would have been singing some Luther Vandross shit in the 80s. And we would have been all R&B motherfuckers. It would have been New Edition, a bunch of boy band with no Run
fucking and M2 made Juicy Fruit shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Androgynous shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, if Run DMC ain't take the beat from the street and put it on TV, that's what they did. They took guys that dress like this, and I still dress like this 40 years later. This is not cosplay for me. This is Sunday. Rashad tell you, it's my Adidas, right?
Yeah. No lies told.
This is what it is, man. It's like, so if there's no Run DMC to define what we are urban culturally, we some S-curl eyeline and wearing niggas all throughout fucking the 80s.
Yeah.
We ready for the world.
What?
In 1988.
You're ready for the world popping shit.
We Rick James without Run DMC. Not saying any of that is bad. I love it. I love Rick James, my favorite artist.
Yeah, but at the same time, but that was Melly Mel's criticism about, like, if you watch that documentary, the show, he was saying back in the day, you came to a Grandmaster Flash show, you watched the show. You know, like you said, the Rick James shit, the Lion Mane coat and the tights and everything. That was hip hop back then, but then Run DMC came and changed that. Yeah, now they come on stage wearing whatever. But
it looked like every nigga outside of the street.
Every nigga outside of the street, yeah.
And think about all the producers that wouldn't be here because of the drum machine.
Right.
There would have been no Dr. Dre.
It would have continued to be bands like Larry Smith, and like I said, I not only do I produce for D, I consider myself an authority on the sound because I have to be. Larry Smith, he bought the DMX drum machine and just took it out the box, didn't tweak any parameters or anything like that, and just started programming beats. So all those sounds that are in the DMX, that's what Suck MCs was, and they was trying to replay that beat from Action, the Alison Williams shit. I want action. That's Suck MC.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same beat. Larry Smith. That's why I want to get a vintage DMX drum machine. Them shits cost like $3,000 now. It's very limited, basic drum machine. But when I get one of those shits, that's when I feel like Larry Smith has really passed the shit on to me. Like, I need to touch a real DMX. I have all the DMX sounds in my studio. I'm the type of dude though. I like to touch the real shit because I was there from that era. I want to touch a real DMX. But like I said, without Run DMC, you take Run DMC out the equation. Everyone who's eating off a podcast, everyone who's a manager, everyone who made millions of dollars with labels. There'd be no Puffy, there'd be no Biggie, there would have been no Uptown, there would have been no Def Jam. It would have been none of it. I can't even think what would we have been doing culturally? Rap might have just stopped in 1984.
Not to mention the impact on white kids, there'd be no Eminem.
Yeah, facts too. Facts.
One of the greatest lyricists of all time is a white boy. You know, black folks are, hey, we invite you into our house. We love you, no matter what race you are. Eminem's one of us. Without Run DMC, and he loves. Now, that's the one rapper who can recite any lyric from any rapper from the 80s, 70s, 90s.
And that's why I say M is the best. That's why I say M is the best. Yeah. That's why, but also, and just to wrap everything up, it's ironic who inducts Run DMC into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Eminem.
Eminem,
So, like I said, without these movies, from Wildstyle to Tougher Than Leather, they're all various degrees of good and bad, but it was building up a cultural impact that without those films, without these artists, I wouldn't be sitting here. Just thank you to everyone involved in all these films, from the directors and everything. Michael Schultz is not talked about enough. We need to do a whole little piece on him.
Yeah, we briefly mentioned him. Yeah.
From Car Wash to Coolie High to Last Dragon too.
Last Dragon, Disorderlies, Which Way Is Up, Last Dragon, Crush Groove.
You just named like half of my top 10. Yeah. Last Dragon, Coolie High, Crush Groove. So but without Run D and J, Jam Master J, rest in peace, man. I wouldn't be here. So look, these movies are bad, but some of them are bad. Some of them are bad. Yeah. Some of them are bad. All right, let's just sum it up. Out of all the movies we talked about, what gets the highest rating?
Crush Groove.
So people are gonna have a problem with that.
I don't give a fuck. This is my channel.
Overall,
Crush Groove.
I rewatched most of these movies. I mean, I know them all by like the back of my hand. But after watching Beat Street again, Beat Street and Crush Groove are a tie for me personally.
Okay,
they're a tie.
You know what? I would have agreed before 10 years. I would definitely say there's a tie. But after working with D and after I love him.
I bet, man.
We love each other. It's just like my personal connection to Crush Groove is just way too deep. I can't see through the objective lens about it. If I'm gonna rate it real quick, Crush Groove, Beat Street, Breaking, Something to Love and Disorderly's a tie. Rapping don't fucking count. And Wildstyle is a documentary. So I can't even rate it. Because if I was rating it, Wildstyle wouldn't even be in that top 5. So I'm going to put it as a cultural.
Well, but it wasn't a documentary. It was a film. It was no documentary.
It was a bad film, B. I love it, but I'm going to put it as a cultural importance in terms of documenting the era. You can't rate it with those 5 films I just named.
I'm going to rate them. I'm going to rate it.
Wait. Okay.
Okay, let me go. Crush Groove, Beat Street, Breaking,
shit. It's tough.
Wildstyle. All right. Breaking 2, Disorderlies, and then Tougher Than Leather. And then, like you said, rapping don't count.
You put Wildstyle ahead of Disorderlies?
Yes.
And tough. So you're on a if you have a date and you invite a date over your crib, you're gonna pull out Wildstyle or Disorderlies.
Of course, it's a fucking date. Of course, I'm gonna put on Disorderlies. I'm talking about for me. For me.
If you're by yourself having a great throwing back a couple drinks, want to spark something up, what you gonna watch? Disorderlies or Wildstyle?
Let me tell you something. This Friday night, okay, it's Friday night. I was in my recliner. I was in my recliner by the window. All right, I had Wildstyle playing. I had my cup of tequila with some Simply Lemonade in there. Reclined back, drinking, having a good time until a truck crashed into a tree right by my damn apartment.
But you were preparing for this. But you were preparing for this live stream. So that's why you were watching the film. I'm not gonna knock your rating. Your rating is what it is.
This is my rating.
Wildstyle is not more enjoyable than any of these films. However, those scenes of Cold Crush versus Fantastic are just absolutely invaluable. It could be the most important footage in any of these movies.
Yeah,
like even the scene on the basketball court, which inspired the Sprite commercial with Kobe and Tim Duncan. That's right from Wildstyle. Yeah,
that one scene inspired. That look, DMC would tell you his favorite MCs were Cold Crush and Fantastic Five. Like DMC was from the era where he was listening to Melly Mel. His favorite MCs were Melly Mel and those dudes.
Yeah.
So like that was the shit was making him wild out. Like, oh shit, that made him write sucker MCs.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, like I'm not gonna knock the cultural impact in terms of enjoyability. If I had to run off 4 right now, Wildstyle wouldn't be in my 4, but culture is more important than probably.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. I respect that, but I dig Wildstyle. I just dig the authenticity of it, the realness of it, and like I said, I didn't see this when I was a kid. I didn't see Wildstyle till I was like maybe 18, 19 or whatever. So you know what I'm saying, and it just it reminds me of a bad 70s porn. 70s porn.
That's close.
That's harsh. Bad no, tougher than leather's bad 70s porn, and they even had a scene in Tougher Than Leather with a white chick, man.
Camera angles, how the shit's out of focus.
And Tougher Than Leather didn't do that. There was not one wide shot in the movie.
Dog,
everything was close up.
Dog, look
into the camera.
Are you honestly gonna argue the cinematic? The technical quality of Wildstyle was shot on a fucking home video camera.
That's okay. You can take the worst camera, but if you know how to shoot a damn thing, if you know how to shoot something, even with a bad camera, you can make it look better than what Tougher Than Leather did. No, I ain't gonna let that ride. Now, I respect everything you. I respect. I respect everything you said about what it meant to the culture, the impact, Run DMC. Man, I love all that. Church, nigga, church. But you talking about a film, man? Tougher Than Leather. Come on, man. Okay, I'll watch Wildstyle over Tougher Than Leather any day of the week. Look, twice on Sunday.
He just wants to, because he knows the soft spot about heart I have for Run DMC. He just wants to bash Tougher Than Leather. And just wants to hear me say it's bad. That's why.
That's not what I'm trying to do.
It's
no,
bad. Honestly, Tougher Than Leather, Rick Rumen's performance alone is unredeemable.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, it's unredeemable. His performance, but I'm able to, like I said, you're talking to the wrong guy about these movies, baby. But is Wildstyle better than Tougher Than Leather?
Yeah.
Again, Wildstyle.
Even with the non-actors, you can't. I mean, because bro, how many times have you said Tougher Than Leather is a horrible movie? How many times have you said Rick Rubin had a bad performance? But you cannot say about how Wildstyle, the acting was so bad. They were playing themselves, and they knew. Okay, but the thing about the movie knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't try to go above and beyond to be like, hey, I'm gonna put a gun to your head and blow your head off. It's like, yeah, man, I'm putting this thing together. They were being themselves. Real.
The acting was horrible in Wildstyle.
Oh, get out of here.
Lee was horrible in Wildstyle. There was no acting. There was no acting in it.
Exactly. They were playing themselves. Wildstyle had a simple.
Lee couldn't even portray himself endearing. He was playing himself. That shit was him playing himself wasn't even interesting. Now, Run DMC played himself. That shit was entertaining, even if it was fake.
D was the best part of that movie.
Yo,
D was the best part of that movie, but nah.
Jay, you're trying to tell me Jay and Run wasn't fucking funny as fucking Tougher Than Leather?
No.
All right, you know what?
No. No.
You know what?
D was the best part of D was the best part of the movie.
Let me rock the Nino style. Let me rock my shit Nino Brown style. Is the Kango emblem showing? Is the Kango emblem showing?
Yeah, it's showing. It's showing. Go ahead, hit me with the Nino. Damn it, I said what I said.
You know what? To end this video, I'm gonna say it like my man Nino
I said what I said. Wildstyle, and Wildstyle even had as bad. Okay, as bad as you say that movie is, had a simple premise. Okay, this graffiti artist trying to make a name for himself wants to build the biggest mural that anybody's ever seen in the city, and that's the whole movie scene from getting to this point to that point. And then by the end of the movie, he builds the mural. They have the show, credits roll. Tougher Than Leather, revenge tale, exploitation, porn, comedy, concert movie. You know what I'm saying? Spaghetti western.
And I love every element of it. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, like, please.
Okay, let's talk about that scene where D and J are fucking with the chick in the hotel. And they it's like a scene where they trying to gas the chick up and both D and J are smashing it. Like Jay is smashing it. Jay got on the Adidas and fucking boxer shorts. And come on, let me tell you a little something. Yeah, okay, you can rock with Wildstyle, but like I said, Lee wasn't an actor. He didn't make me want to be like, yo, like I said, it's like he was bad at playing himself.
Mm. Yo, that shit look tight like that, by the way. That shit look tight like that shit looks tight like that, by the way, man. That's like you look like your boy from that's the Dutta man from New Jack City right there, man.
Like I said, you had to be there. I'm on some Dutta man shit. You know what I'm saying? I want some Cash Money, brother. You know why? I'm gonna cancel your ass over saying
cancel. Now you can't. I'm uncancelable.
Wildstyle can beat fucking Tougher Than Leather, man. Like,
man, I wish we could take a poll right now. Tougher Than Leather, Wildstyle. I guarantee, just like 5 Heartbeats and Temptations. Everybody said 5 Heartbeats over Temptations. I guarantee they'll say Wildstyle over fucking Tougher Than Leather.
It's very popular for hip hop purists to love Wildstyle. You have fucking Cold Crushing, Fantastic Five, and all the pioneers of graffiti. It's really them. That's what I'm saying. Wildstyle is not a movie. It's a fucking documentary portrayed to you like a movie. Wildstyle is, I can't even rate it with Disorderly. Disorderly is a fun comedy. Wildstyle is a guerrilla fucking voyeurism film. Nah, man, straight up Cash Money.
Nah, man.
Cash Money Brothers shit. Yo, on that note, I'm gonna be out on that note on some pure 80s shit.
Okay, well, all right. So to close it out, okay, you have all our rankings. All right, I appreciate you brothers for coming on for this is my longest stream ever for 3 hours, man. Yo, I had a blast doing this. Yeah. So I appreciate y'all. By the way, links to Blacktastic is in the description right now. Check him out. The link to Ghetto Metal is in the description. So if you haven't heard Ghetto Metal yet, check it out, man. Fucking hottest record right now. You know what I'm saying? Check him out.
Let's go.
Word. So with that being said, we about to sign out, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And Tougher Than Leather is still trash. I'm ending it on that.